Be there in a minute.
I'm going. Okay. Hey, everybody. Hold on. Let me see. Where am I? A little bit coordinated, a little bit uncoordinated this morning. Sorry, we're late. We're getting our ducks in a row. I'm still on hold with the prison, Scott. Hey, Celinda, Scott, Shamat, Peggy, good to see you. Everybody, Steadiest, thank you for being here. Hey, Winky, good to see you. We're just a little bit late. It came out just a few minutes ago that they unsealed the indictment, and I just lost my shit. I'm like, what? Yes. So, and then we have all this. Well, Wendy, which is us, has all this paperwork for things that he's been charged with, and I can't believe it. I can't. Good morning, He-Man. Hey, Body Cat, Michelle. Good to see you. So let's just jump right into it, and then we shall discuss. Hey, Opal, what happens in the dark comes to light. Boy, he's learning the hard way, and I can't believe that it took this long. Hell, I think I showed myself.
Breaking news now. The indictment against Sean Diddy Combs has just been unsealed. Combs is being charged with racketeering conspiracy, alleging he ran an enterprise that he engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, or kidnapping, arson, and other crimes. He's also charged with sex trafficking by force. I want to bring in ABC's Phil Lippoff, ABC News contributor and SiriusXM radio host Mike Muse, and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer for more. Phil, give us the details on this indictment.
So we're just looking through it right now. You hit the highlights, but right off the bat, they go through all of his all of the names that, because they have to do that in an indictment. They have to name all the names he's ever gone by. And then they talk about he relied on his employees and resources to influence the multifaceted business and what he would do. They allege that there were, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping. They allege arson, bribery, obstruction of justice. They go on to talk about how he would
Wendy
abuse women. They talk about kicking and punching.
Wendy will be here in just a second. She's here, but she's not here, okay? So I just want to say that's why she's not talking.
I'm here. Sorry. My thing it's not working the way I need it to work. So forget it. We'll be fine. I'll just do it. Okay. I'll just do it from my Photos app. It's fine.
Okay. So listen to all these. I hate him.
Oh, girl. Wait till you read it. Wait till we read it. We'll go through the documents. Hey guys, hey everybody. We have the documents. We have the complaint, which is 35 pages. We have the summary of events, and we have a 73-page document with pictures, screenshots, all of the people, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jennifer Lopez, all of the people that are involved in this. We have a lot of stuff we could go through today if we wanted to.
To have they talked about highly coordinated sexual acts with male prostitutes.
He is a plonker. Okay.
I mean, this is extensive. This seems to be everything that we have heard about in allegations. I haven't been through the entire thing yet. We're all looking through it. But so far, what I can tell just in the first couple of pages is most of the things they are alleging in this indictment we have heard about.
And Phil, I'm going to give you a chance to go through. I know I put you on the spot there, literally as we got that indictment now. Brian, walk me through legally. We've heard, did he deny these charges these accusations really throughout. Now they're officially charges. His attorney also before the indictment said that he's an imperfect person, but that he's not a criminal, again denying this. So what do you make of the fact?
Can you imagine? You know, he is an imperfect person. But I do have a video of his attorney speaking about how he's doing. Oh, were you having a bad time so far? But you know his time in prison's not going to be like our time would be.
That we're now seeing in black and white what the government is trying to charge him with?
Yes, so Diana, it makes it a lot more interesting as to how to dissect this case. We have 3 charges. We have a racketeering charge, or what we also hear as RICO. The second count being, as Phil articulated, what we all thought might be there, the sex trafficking through force, fraud, or coercion, and then, of course, the transportation of prostitution. Now, those are the first initial charges. That could be more coming down the line, depending on how this investigation goes. But this is what we know so far. When it comes to these charges, we're looking at life in prison as a maximum for at least the second count and potentially the first as well. But also when it comes to RICO, how they're describing this enterprise as its way of promoting, enhancing, and protecting the brand, and that sex and sex trafficking was a part of it. We're going to see all the ugly and gruesome parts of bad boy entertainment that surround this alleged abuse in a way that I don't think many of us are prepared for.
Ryan, can you talk about the degree to these charges? Because any kind of sexual abuse or sexual assault is bad enough, but it sounds like what they're describing is something that was really premeditated and coordinated.
Yeah, so when you're talking about RICO, you're talking about a criminal enterprise, and criminal enterprises can be anything. Oftentimes you associate RICO with like the mafia or things of that nature, money and violence. This seems to be more in line to, if you want to draw a comparison, to that of R. Kelly, where there was an organization within the music industry that kind of was part and parcel. They interacted with each other in a way that you couldn't see where the music started and the alleged abuse ended. That it's almost the trafficking and transporting of women for the pleasure, for increasing the brand, for potentially even, hey, we want to get a new artist. So you know what, we're going to traffic this girl that he might be interested in a way of attracting and keeping this artist in a way to grow the brand and make money off of it. They are alleging that it is so intertwined that it's almost business as usual to do this trafficking and transporting. And at least that's what I'm reading from the initial allegations in this indictment.
We think of Diddy, we think of the music, but his influence goes far beyond that. How significant is it to have charges of this?
Y'all know, it seems like there's very few famous people, you know, that hung out at the Diddy parties and all that, that even seemed, they're not even a little bit shocked that this is happening. You know that, right? Have you noticed that? You're muted.
Yeah, no, nobody has seemed like they're shocked at all. Sorry, I'm uploading.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have noticed that. Yeah, nobody seems like him. No way, it couldn't possibly happen. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't heard anybody coming out like, like that's impossible. It could not happen, or anyone saying, oh no, I was there. None of this happened. I'm seeing a lot of everybody, shutting up, not saying a damn word, or I'm seeing people go, "It's about time. It's about time."
Yeah. His biggest, if they could get Justin Bieber to speak out, that would be a huge win for the prosecution.
Yeah. I wonder, I'm sure he knows stuff. He's got to.
Well, he has a song that says something about, something happened at a Diddy party and it changed him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never liked him either. Sweet.
No, I haven't either.
I've never been a fan.
Y'all know he's the one that allegedly hired someone to kill Tupac too. Fuck you, Diddy.
Against someone who was this powerful.
It's huge. And just got to give context to what Phil and what Brian is talking about. Diane is in the conversation that we were just having a few moments ago. What I'm looking at from this unsealed indictment, of course, we need to learn a little bit more, is it seems like Cassie was such a big part of this indictment. A lot of these indictments comes from the lawsuit and allegations that Cassie was actually discussing. In particular, you think about arson. I know people are probably wondering, where is the arson coming from?
Right.
In Cassie's lawsuit, she alleged that Diddy threatened to blow up a current rapper Kid Cudi's car, to which Kid Cudi's car did blow up in an explosion, to which Kid Cudi then gave a statement and said that he can confirm that actually happened. I'm thinking that's where the reference of the arson comes from. I'm also thinking about the male prostitutes. Cassie alleges that during that time,
when that video came out, because I mean, I think people have been trying to, I don't know, never mind, I'll forget that, scratch that. When that video came out of him kicking her at the elevator, remember that video that came out a few months ago, that was him kicking her and hitting her at the elevator and stuff? It was like, finally she was being heard.
Right.
Because he's been so untouchable all these years. And finally, now people are willing to hear and listen and see for themselves. And that video pissed off the world. Everybody was furious when that video dropped. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. We could probably get it and show it. It made everybody furious. Rightly so. And it was like, she's been saying this for years, but nobody listened. Nobody wanted to hear it. Because he was so untouchable.
He's untouchable, and she's not safe now.
Right. Because, she doesn't know what he's going to do, what people who love him are going to do, what he's going to pay someone to do. She don't know. Like, it was very brave of her to even be willing to even say something.
So, yeah. And it did. It will enrage you. I'm sure we can find it, but get ready. It will enrage you.
Yeah, this is a trigger warning to lots. I mean, I don't know if you put that in the title or not, but
I did.
Okay, good. Because this whole conversation is early Tuesday morning, and we're talking about heavy stuff today.
Yeah. I've kept up with it as much, some, but here's what I thought. He'll never enter the United States again. I just thought he would stay abroad, and
he's been taken into custody. He came in. I don't know why.
I was so happy when I saw that he was taken into custody. But when they unsealed the indictment and got to read it, because I think that was one of his things, he did not want that opened. And
wait till we go through it.
Yeah.
Your mouths are going to, speaking of open, your mouths are going to be hanging open. I didn't expect him to come back. I honestly didn't. I figured he knew he was busted. I can't even imagine he'd come back to America and boom.
He's never alone.
He's not only is he back, but he's in custody.
Right. And he thought that's how untouchable he thought he was. Thought he could sneak back. And
did he was he sneaking back, or did
I don't know if he was sneaking back? I made that up.
Okay. Because I know he's been, his attorneys are speaking and all of that. So I assumed that he came back on purpose and turned himself in or whatever.
Okay. See, I assumed the opposite. I assumed that he came for some kind of party or something, or to grab some of his stuff, and somebody turned him in.
Okay. I guess I don't know. Do you guys know? I don't know. I guess I have no idea.
Yeah, I do not think he would have ever turned himself in, because he knows, look, we've said this 1,000 times. A guilty person has nothing to hide I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's hid everything because he's guilty.
Right. And you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. When you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing. That's how I always say it. But, and he's been hiding all this time.
Yeah. I think one of the worst slaps in the face was when he made the video out of the country and sent it over here, and I'm innocent. No, you ain't, bitch. People been knowing about you for a long time.
Right. Okay, so Winky said the feds gave him a heads up last week. He needed to be in NYC to turn himself in. They actually got him a day before. I remember I heard that on the news that they were supposed to take him the following day, and instead they took him a day early. Probably because they thought he was going to leave.
And
That's
I think
right.
he
I
would've.
remember that. Yeah, I remember that on the news that they got him a day earlier than they expected. So I think it was planned.
I bet he was shocked. And I
I
bet
think
you
he
he
was.
is.
I think he and his lawyers were, I think, surprised that they picked him up early.
But
But-
so what happens to all these celebrities like Cuba? Is it
I don't
Cuba?
know.
I've always said Cuba, but now some say Cuba. I don't know.
Well, I say Cuba too. I'm sorry if I say it wrong. My apologies.
You know that there's a lot of celebrities that participated. Now, I saw one give an interview, a celebrity the other day that said, "Yeah, I've been to Diddy parties. I didn't see any of that. They must have waited till I left." But morning, Black Eagle. But
Sure, Jan. Press X to doubt.
I know who it was. Damon Wayans.
Right, sure. Damon Wayans saw nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I saw nothing. Nothing happened over here,
Had a
officer.
few drinks. Was blindfolded. Left.
Uh-huh. Big ass lie. You're a whole lie, Damon. I don't believe you for a minute.
Hey,
Sorry,
Pam.
sir.
Diddy would force her to look on the internet to solicit male prostitutes in order to engage in sexual activities. I'm assuming that is where the male prostitute dynamic is coming from. In terms of kidnapping,
Wow.
Cassie also has alleged in her lawsuit the forceful nature to which Sean Combs would remove her from events, from social settings, from gatherings, and keep her in essentially in housing in order to perform these activities. When it comes to the idea of the enterprise, to kind of translate that to what Brian.
Put it on pause for a second. Now, this is not even on topic. Doesn't even matter. Forgive me. Do you see that thing on her ear? Isn't that pretty? That's so pretty.
I don't like it.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
I just think it's cool. I would never be able to
cool.
pull that off, but I think it's cool looking.
I mean, I have one. I'm gonna wear it to court, but
all right, fine, hit play, whatever.
I want to stand out. But
all right, fine, whatever, hit play.
I'm gonna stand up and yell, "Avengers!"
Avengers! You're gonna sit there and go, "Com check, check, com check." Everybody on? Just want to make sure y'all can hear me. That's a hell of a Bluetooth device, I'll say.
It is. I'm telling you.
All right, hit play.
Brian Buckmeyer just said so eloquently, culturally, what Diddy was. Diddy was the kind of person where if you were in the music industry, you wanted to be around. If you were trying to make your mark as an A&R executive, if you were trying to make your mark in the marketing, if you were trying to make your mark in order to hang out with him, to go to his home in the white parties in the Hamptons, that's how much of a pull Diddy had. I cannot underscore how Diddy had this concept and this idea of the Midas touch. And Diane, being a part of the music industry, being around Diddy, being around those events, being at his home in the Hamptons, being at his home in Miami, I had firsthand accounts, not of these allegations. I didn't see any of that.
When people say, you know, they sold their soul, we're seeing people who sold their soul.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yes.
But how desperate people were to be in his orbit. I can't underscore that enough. You think about the 40th birthday party that he had that I went to at Cipriani's. I mean, people, they had Mariah Carey. You had, I remember the royal family was invited. I can't remember if they attended or not, right? But you had those type of...
I'm going to say that the Queen and King said, nah.
The Queen was all, maybe next year, Diddy.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, though.
Happy birthday, though. Perhaps next year, if you don't mind.
How damn Honky. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for
Who
is.
invites the queen to their birthday? Who thinks that they might actually come? That's amazing.
I'm
did not even
so
consider it.
special.
She
Look,
almost came to my birthday party.
well,
but, you
I'll
know,
tell you what,
pandemic
I have a
now.
grandson that has a birthday tomorrow, and I'm getting on the horn right now, inviting Harry and Meghan. And if they don't get their ass here, I'm going live about it.
That's right. That's right. We're going to put you on blast.
Wow.
With individuals wanting to be there, coming. You think about Diddy runs the city with marathons. This is a type of influence and pull that he had. And so when I think about the racketeering and the enterprise dynamic, it's just about people who wanted to be near him and who was willing to do anything for Diddy to give them affirmation and recognition.
And Phil, as you're going through that indictment, what is that anything? What sticks out to you?
Well, I mean, Mike laid it out. I just want to touch on one thing that you didn't, and this is the violence toward women. In this one section, it says, on multiple occasions from 2009 on, Combs assaulted women, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects, and kicking them. These assaults at times were witnessed, and then they go into the 2016 video that we saw of Cassie. So you're right, a lot of this stems from Cassie's allegations, but you see, I mean, they've got it laid out there.
And then Phil, to what you just mentioned too, in terms of the physical violence, not only is Cassie a part of this, but also too, the recent lawsuit that we saw from former Danny Kaine group member Dawn Richard. Dawn Richard also says she witnessed these violent acts too as well.
All right, Phil, Mike, Brian, thank you.
So let me see if I can find the update from his attorney, which should be not far, because I find it crazy. Well, no, I don't. They're going to speak out. They have to.
I hope he's not. I guess he is trying to say he's not guilty of all this. I mean, I don't know how you're going to. I mean, the thing is this, if you believe, what's in the complaint, the police are involved in covering this up.
No doubt. I have no doubt. Hey, just Mom.
Like he had people on the payroll.
Yeah. Well, you have to get away with it that long.
Yeah.
Hey, sweet cooter. Yeah, I believe fully that he had people on the payroll, and I believe that I don't know. I don't think he's innocent of one charge, not one.
Right. You know what's sad is that if Cassie's video had come out at any other time in history before this, would she have been believed, or would this have all been swept under the rug just like every other person who's mentioned it before? You know what I mean? Like, she picked the exact perfect time, sadly, for people to pay attention to it. Finally.
Well, the video finally got out, but we've seen videos like that of other celebrities that people are like, who cares?
Yeah, but it just gets swept away. Right, exactly. It just kind of gets swept away. And yeah, people would have been like, oh, that's gross, da, da, da. But, he's a changed man now. That was a long time ago, blah, blah, blah. And, he would have been, canceled for 4 days, but then he would have still been right back, Yeah.
It's
sad.
It is sad.
This is the lawyer. Let's listen.
Wow. To me, I'll share it with the press, and you guys won't be behind the curtain.
Did you speak to Mr. Combs?
I speak to him all the time. Yeah.
What's his reaction to everything that's happening?
We knew this was coming. I mean, he moved to New York, as I think some of you guys know. We brought him.
He moved to New York. That's a lie. We already know that's a lie.
Why is that a lie?
Because they just said that the feds gave him a heads up of exactly where he needed to be. And then they had to come in a day early and get him because they thought he was going to flee.
Okay.
All right. New York about 2 weeks ago, because we knew this day was going to come, and it's here.
Oh, he moved 2 weeks ago.
Last night.
Ah.
Is that planned?
No, it's not planned. Certainly, it's not planned by us. I mean, he came here to surrender at a time agreeable from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and then they arrested him last night. I spent the evening with him. I was with him until about 1 o'clock. His spirits are good. He's confident. He is dealing with this head on the way he.
We can tell about all that confident by those bags under your eyes, sir.
He's dealt with every challenge in his life, and he's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges. We
Wow.
know what the charges are going to be without seeing the indictment. It's going to be racketeering. It's going to be sex trafficking. It's going to be things along those lines.
You know,
This is
just
what
a
we've
little.
been expecting since the search is in March.
You know, he just says that
gives
like
great credit to
nothing.
voluntarily.
Yeah, he just like, you know,
The standard racketeering, sexual trafficking, or sex trafficking. The standard.
arson. Like,
You
who
know,
hasn't? Who hasn't burned a car before
Right.
because they're mad at a person?
Right. Who doesn't have a racketeering charge here and there?
Yeah.
Came to New York. Not a lot of defendants do that. He came to New York to basically engage the court system and start the case, and it'll start today. And he's going to plead not guilty. Obviously, he's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and the full confidence of his lawyers.
And he's
All
going
right,
to
damn
lose.
it.
He's
That's
going
a
to
trial.
lose hard.
This is a trial we need to attend.
Mm.
Damn.
And I expect a long battle with a good result for Mr. Combs.
Do you think he'll be released?
I'm going to fight like hell to get him released, and he should be released with all that he's done and coming here voluntarily. And guys, I'm going to cut it short because I have to go in.
Okay. So I'm going to say this.
They're going to try to get him out on bail? Are they
Yes.
offering bail? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and here's what. I bet you if he did come here for this reason, that's why his lawyer told him, if you do not show up, then I will never get you out on bail.
I wonder if they're going to let him have bail. He's obviously a flight risk. Don't you even try, sir, to tell us that this man is not a flight risk, because he is.
Yeah, what are you going to say? Oh, no, by leaving the United States, that'll break the law. What? He ain't afraid of breaking the law.
Absolutely. And he's certainly not afraid of running. Because where has he been all this time?
Right. I hope they don't, because there's no amount of bail they could set that he can't make.
Right. No amount of bail that they could set that he can't make. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So thank you all very much, and I'll keep you all
Have you
posted.
spoken to Combs this morning?
Not this morning. I'm going to see him now. I was with him till 1 o'clock. So
Is he in court already?
I don't know. That's one of the things I'm going to go see. But I'm going to run you guys.
You do know, because if he was in court, you would be in court. And
Right.
I want to see his cell. I want to see that he's sleeping on the same shitty bed that other inmates have to sleep in.
Right. He's got the luxury suite at the jail.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. All right, fellas. Bye, everybody.
I don't know. I always pictured Martha Stewart's cell being like a queen size bed with flowers and.
Maybe not when she got there, but it was when she left.
Oh yeah, she did baking classes, cooking classes.
She was a hit over there too. They loved her in that jail.
They did. And,
They did.
and she's
I know.
proud
I
of
know.
it. I bet
She had
she's
a
got
great
a
old time in
tat
there.
we don't know about. Where's your tat, Martha?
Yeah, where's your prison tat? We know you got one, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you want to go over the complaint, or we have the complaint, which is 35 pages, so that's a long one.
Mm-hmm.
We have the summary of events. Maybe we should start with the summary of events.
Yeah.
No, that because that's about Mr. Jones. That's specific to him. Let's do the complaint.
Okay. And trigger warning.
Yeah, this is long. This is going to be rough. Oh, and it's a video too, which is going to be tricky. But I will do my best. Okay. Hopefully you guys can
PC?
see okay.
Diddy will be in PC. What's PC?
Protected
Custody.
That's my guess.
Yeah, you're right. He will.
Okay.
Luxury suite.
Right. All right. Can you guys see it okay, or is it blurry?
Blur. A little bit blurry for me.
Let me see if I can see. That's as good as it's going to get. Yeah, that's as good as it's going to get.
Okay. That's good.
Okay. All right. So this is, for me, this document is 35 pages, but I don't have page 1. I just have page 2. So it starts at 3. The truth, however, is that Cassie, Miss Cassandra Ventura, was held down by Mr. Combs and endured over a decade of his violent behavior and disturbed demands. For Miss Ventura, the quote, dark times were those she spent trapped by Mr. Combs in a cycle of abuse. Violence, and sex trafficking. Among other violent and unlawful acts, Mr. Combs AR'd Miss Ventura in her own home after she tried to leave him, often punched, beat, and kicked and stomped on Miss Ventura, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding. Blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in Miss Ventura. Forced Miss Ventura to engage in sex acts with male sex workers while, I can't say that word, and filming the encounters. God, you're a pig. What a fucking pig you are. Ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival industry executive whom he learned was nearby. Oh my God. He heard he was nearby, so he goes running outside with a gun. Jesus.
Yeah. I could see him doing that too.
Totally. I could see him doing all of these things, which is terrifying, but yeah. Demanded that Miss Ventura carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is. And introduced Miss Ventura to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance abuse and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. Whew. All right,
He's
number
a
4.
deviant, a sexual deviant. That's what he is.
Absolutely. Miss Ventura met Mr. Combs in 2005 when she was 19 years old and he was 37 years old. Oh my God, she was a baby. Excuse me.
Can we say grooming?
Right. He signed her to his label, Bad Boy Records, and within a few years lured Miss Ventura into an ostentatious, fast-paced, and drug-fueled lifestyle and into a romantic relationship with him. Her boss, one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry, and a vicious, cruel, controlling man nearly 2 decades her senior. Wow. Mr. Combs asserted complete control over Miss Ventura's personal and professional life, thereby ensuring her inability to escape his hold. He provided unprecedented, let's see where we go with this. Oh, is that the first page? I do have the first page. I'm so sorry. Okay. Sorry. Let's read the first page real quick. This is the hold on.
Absolutely, Opal. Sick.
Yeah. This is a civil case. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I had the first page. I should have hit play and I didn't. So this is the Cassandra or the Cassie. This is her complaint. That's what this is. Okay. Sorry for the dumb music. Okay, I already read that page. Okay, here we go. He beat Miss Ventura savagely. These beatings were witnessed by Mr. Combs' staff. Sorry. Let's see. He told her she could be an aspiring artist, but in return demanded obedience, loyalty, and silence. Throughout the relationship, Mr. Combs was prone to uncontrollable rage and frequently beat Miss Ventura savagely. These beatings were witnessed by Mr. Combs' staff and employees of Bad Boy Entertainment and Mr. Combs' related businesses, but no one dared to speak up against their frightening and ferocious boss. Wow. Following these episodes of horrific abuse, Mr. Combs would immediately attempt to hide Miss Ventura and the evidence of his violent rage. He often showered her with gifts following incidents of physical violence and a typical pattern of behavior by serial abusers. And that is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sure he even fed her if you didn't make me so angry, if I didn't love you so much,
But it won't happen again.
Never. Here's all these pretty jewels to keep you happy, to make up for it. And this poor baby is 19 years old. She doesn't know anything about anything. Oh, God bless him. All right. In addition to the physical assaults, Mr. Combs frequently reminded Miss Ventura of his ability to cause serious harm, whether by requiring her to carry his gun in her purse or by blowing up the car of a musician that was romantically interested in Miss Ventura.
Oh,
Yeah. There's the car thing that you talked about earlier. Adding insult to injury, Mr. Combs used illegal substances and threats of violence to force Miss Ventura into repeated, unwanted sexual encounters with male sex workers. Wow. Over the years that Mr. Combs abused Miss Ventura physically and sexually, she again and again tried to escape his tight hold over her life. Every time she hid, Mr. Combs' vast network of corporations and affiliated entities found her. And those who worked for Mr. Combs' companies implored her to return to him. Wow. Many went as far as to explicitly state that her failure to return to Mr. Combs would hinder her success in the entertainment industry. Wow.
Yeah.
When she believed that she had finally separated from her longtime abuser, she joined Mr. Combs for dinner, excuse me, after which he forced her into her home and arred her while she repeatedly said no and tried to push him away. So she finally believed that she had finally separated from her longtime abuser. She joined him for dinner. So like this is a what? This is a dinner to just say okay, goodbye, I guess.
Probably.
And after that, he arred her while she repeatedly said no and tried to push him away. Wow. Okay. Miss Ventura has now fully escaped Mr. Combs, but the harm that the assaults and sexual abuse he caused her to experience for nearly a decade will forever haunt her. She has required intensive medical and psychological care to recover from the trauma she lived through. She cannot, however, continue to live in silence about what she endured. Mr. Combs remains immensely powerful and immensely dangerous.
Amen.
Miss Ventura, therefore, seeks the justice for the decade of her life that Mr. Combs took away from her, with threats of violence, excessive drug use, physical and psychological abuse, and sexual slavery. Whoa. Damn. Whew. Accordingly, Miss Ventura brings this action seeking injunctive, declaratory, and monetary relief against defendants in violation of federal sex trafficking laws. And here's all the laws, all the way down to here. All right, so jurisdiction and venue. This court has jurisdiction, pursuant to, okay, so this is the right jurisdiction and the right venue. Then the parties, Cassandra Ventura is the plaintiff. Sean Combs is the defendant. Bad Boy Entertainment is the defendant. Bad Boy Records is the defendant, and Epic Records. So she's suing everything him and all of his associations.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry, Wendy was listening to her music while she was recording this.
Yeah, this isn't my music. Their dumb music. No offense, I don't even know what kind of music it is. If this is him, is he singing this song? I have no idea.
I don't know. All
right, so here are the factual allegations. Teenaged, I love that they put teenaged in there. Yes, she was. She's 19. That's still a teenager. Teenaged Miss Ventura meets middle-aged Mr. Combs.
Middle-aged.
Old-ass man, Mr. Combs. And as her career begins. Okay, that's the title of the allegations. Miss Ventura met Mr. Combs in late 2005 or early 2006 after Mr. Combs heard Miss Ventura's first single playing in a club and expressed interest in signing her to his label, Bad Boy Records. At the time, Miss Ventura was 19 years old. Mr. Combs was 37 years old. Gross.
Yes.
Within months, in February 2006, Miss Ventura signed a 10-album deal with Mr. Combs' record label. Damn. 10 albums? That's
a big projection. Yeah.
considering he's heard one song of hers. 10 albums, baby. All right. Miss Ventura's first album, Cassie, was released in August 2006, debuting at number 4 on the US Billboard 200. To promote the album, Miss Ventura made television appearances on MTV's Total Request Live and BET's 106 in Park. Miss Ventura suffered from significant performance anxiety during these appearances, and press outlets were highly critical of Miss Ventura's performances on these shows. 10 albums, babe. 10 albums of that shit.
Yep, Mountain Mama. Yep.
I can't see the chat, so let me know if anyone has questions for me.
Okay.
Mr. Combs, however, sought to rehabilitate his newly signed talent, telling MVT News, "You could hear the nervousness in her voice. And to be honest, I kind of smiled at it because it made me really appreciate what I really love about her." Yeah, you love that she's a scared little girl.
But we'll still do what you say.
Huh?
But we'll still do what he says to do.
Right. But he smiled because she's a scared little girl.
Right.
She's a regular person. It just made me appreciate that she got nervous, and it was kind of cute to me, to be honest. You've got to understand that success for her is coming out of nowhere. It's just so huge. You mean you are. I'm so huge. And sometimes everybody handles it differently. Uh-huh. While clearly paternalistic in noting it was cute to him how regular Miss Ventura appeared, Mr. Combs' comments rang true to some extent. Upon signing with Bad Boy Records, Miss Ventura was quickly thrust into the spotlight and was unfamiliar with how to navigate her new celebrity status. Yeah, I'm sure at 19 years old. Like, what do you even do? Mr. Combs' recognition and glorification of Miss Ventura's naivete, I don't know if that's how you say that word or not, but I think it is.
I would say naivety, but okay.
Naivety? That's how you say that?
You're naive. Naivety. I don't know, but I've heard people say not what you said.
Naivete? I don't know.
I don't even know if I'm capable of saying it, so let's just...
We're not lawyers over here, people. Okay, just, that word right there. Y'all see it. Say it how you want. Proved to set the groundwork for his manipulative and coercive romantic and sexual relationship with Miss Ventura, a woman nearly 2 decades his junior. Within a year of signing with Bad Boy Records, Mr. Combs became deeply entrenched in Miss Ventura's life. Yeah. Almost immediately asserting possession and control over her and inserting himself into all aspects of her career and her personal life. Oh, it's a red flag, lady. That's a red flag. That's not a good sign.
Oh, John. No.
That's such textbook textbook abuse, narcissistic abuse, whatever, where they smother you out, they erase you.
Yes.
And so that all there is him. You're not a you anymore. You're him now. You're part of him. In November 2006, Mr. Combs invited Miss Ventura to perform his song "Come to Me" along with him at the MTV Europe Music Awards in Copenhagen, Denmark. After a rehearsal for the performance, Mr. Combs walked around in a robe with a drink in his hand, flaunting his lavish party lifestyle to his label's newly signed artist. During hair and makeup leading up to the performance, Miss Ventura's hairstylist and Mr. Combs' makeup artist told Miss Ventura that Mr. Combs was interested in Miss Ventura. Miss Ventura shrugged off the gossip and in fact expressed disgust given the large that's not good. Given the large age gap between her and the president of her record label. Oh dear. Oh dear. She expressed disgust. That's not going to go over well.
No.
Emphasizing the age and power dynamic early on in their working relationship, Mr. Combs positioned himself as a father figure and protector of Miss Ventura. By way of example, I know, gross. By way of example, after returning to New York after a trip to Las Vegas, during which she endured a brief hospital stay, Miss Ventura, who was by then fully healthy, went out to a club with her friends. When Mr. Combs saw her out, he reprimanded her, telling her to go home and take care of herself. At the time, Miss Ventura thought that her record label was looking out for her well-being and that Mr. Combs had her best interest in mind. Mr. Combs also ensured he was intertwined with Miss Ventura's personal and social life, for instance, by inviting himself to Miss Ventura's 21st birthday party in Las Vegas. He also brought along famous musicians and producers, thereby flaunting his celebrity status and influence in front of a young and impressionable Miss Ventura. Although Mr. Combs knew that Miss Ventura was in a relationship at the time, she was in a relationship at the time. Okay. I didn't know that. Although Mr. Combs knew that Miss Ventura was in a relationship at that time, and even though he was publicly in a relationship with Kim Porter, so he was with someone too. Mr. Combs nevertheless pursued Miss Ventura. At an after party in a hotel suite following Miss Ventura's 21st birthday party, Mr. Combs pulled Miss Ventura into a bathroom and forcibly kissed her. Miss Ventura did not consent to this unwanted contact. She immediately ran out of the bathroom and hotel suite and cried. She told her best friend at the time about what had happened and was too scared to tell anyone else. At the Video Music Awards the following day, Miss Ventura's boyfriend at the time joined her and Mr. Combs at a table at the awards ceremony. That's got to be intimidating.
Yeah.
Mr. Combs became angry, telling... We did not like this young man. Telling Miss Ventura that the invitation to the awards ceremony was only for her and not for her significant other. Oh, dear. Mr. Combs lures Miss Ventura into a relationship. Despite her clear rejection of Mr. Combs' advances, Mr. Combs decided to demand Miss Ventura spend time with him, including for a weekend at Mr. Combs' residence in Miami. Yeah. And for nights out in New York City. So now she has to go out with him. She has to go out with him in Miami. She has to go out with him in New York. On one particular night around September 2007, Mr. Combs insisted on taking Miss Ventura out. Miss Ventura acquiesced, fearing that rejecting Mr. Combs' request would have repercussions for her album deal with Mr. Combs and his company, Bad Boy Records. Mr. Combs picked up Miss Ventura from her apartment in Manhattan in a blue luxury vehicle. Miss Ventura was surprised when she got into the car. Mr. Combs was already inebriated. Nice.
Oh,
jeez. He handed her a pill and told her to take it. When Miss Ventura asked what the pill was, Mr. Combs dismissed her and told her she would like it. She later learned the pill was ecstasy, something Miss Ventura had never before tried and did not want to try. This was the first time Mr. Combs got Miss Ventura high. Wow. Mr. Combs then proceeded to drive recklessly at a very high speed. He was driving?
For some reason, I thought they were in a limo, but guess not.
Same. He's drunk and he's driving. I assumed that he had a driver. I was thinking there was a luxury vehicle that there's a driver. Okay. He then proceeded to drive recklessly at very high speeds down the West Side Highway of Manhattan. Miss Ventura was very scared, but did not dare to object to Mr. Combs, who appeared drunk, high, and agitated. Oh, dear. Mr. Combs, agitated too, on top of drunk and high. Mr. Combs took Miss Ventura to an upscale lounge in downtown Manhattan, where he proceeded to get into an altercation with the security staff, who would not permit Mr. Combs to enter, presumably because he was belligerent.
Well, that'll do it.
That'll do it. And so the club said, nope, you can't come in. That probably was not a happy conversation. Miss Ventura decided to go home, but I swear this reads like a novel.
It does.
Right? For the remainder of the night, Mr. Combs messaged Miss Ventura incessantly, complaining that he left him high and alone. I'm thinking that means she. complaining that she left him high and alone, I'm guessing. In early fall 2007, Mr. Combs flexed his power and influence when he paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party hosted by Miss Ventura. This fake posting...
Oh,
When he paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party hosted by Miss Ventura. This fake posting allowed Miss Ventura to have an excuse to go to Miami, Florida to get away from her boyfriend by using the guise of a legitimate event she had to attend. Oh my gosh! Miss Ventura was stunned at how easily Mr. Combs was able to recruit others to lie for him. Wow.
think about that. Because
So
it's
they
still
create...
going to go on.
Wow. Miss Ventura was uncomfortable with the fake flyer, but because the request to go to Miami was made by the owner of her record label, and because she was scared to go against his wishes and face repercussions to her nascent, I don't know what that means, career, Miss Ventura agreed to join Mr. Combs in Florida.
Imagine feeling that trapped. See,
And her intoxication lasted throughout the weekend trip. As she wanted Mr. Combs to continue to support her career, she felt she could not refuse Mr. Combs' urging to take more drugs. After providing her with drugs, Mr. Combs had sexual intercourse with Miss Ventura during this trip. Like, what do you even do? She's 21 years old. This is her her entire career, her entire future. Everything is wrapped up in this guy who is feeding her, booze and drugs and wants her, obviously. Makes up fake trips to just get her out of the house and get her away from her boyfriend. Like, I can't even imagine at 21 how you handle this.
I don't know. You got to be scarred for life.
Right? Because I know that, I would imagine anyway, that she doesn't feel like she can say, clearly she doesn't feel like she can say no. She wants to say no, according to this document. we don't know, what his version of this story is. I can only imagine.
Oh, she was all over me.
She wanted it so bad. She asked us to make a fake flyer. I can imagine it now.
Yeah.
But the way this reads, I'm terrified for this poor girl. But I guess that's the point, right? It's supposed to read like that.
Yeah.
After providing her with drugs, Mr. Combs had sexual intercourse with Miss Ventura during this trip. Within 2 years of meeting Mr. Combs, Miss Ventura found herself lured into the immediate circle of her boss, the owner of her record label, and one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry. Mr. Combs exerts control over Miss Ventura's career and personal life. All right, going on. From the very start of their relationship, Mr. Combs exerted his power and influence over Miss Ventura. This dynamic was fueled by their nearby 20-year age difference. I'm sorry, not nearby, nearly. Was fueled by their nearly 20-year age difference. I love that they keep putting that in there.
Yeah.
They want to make sure the judge remembers that part.
Pound that home, yes.
That's right. As well as their relative positions in the entertainment industry, with Mr. Combs considered a music mogul and Miss Ventura at the very start of her career as an entertainer. Mr. Combs' aggressive and demanding approach to those he worked with made it impossible for anyone to challenge him, and Miss Ventura soon learned that Mr. Combs insisted on blind loyalty from everyone in his inner circle. And we've talked about this. He doesn't want loyalty. He wants obedience. We've talked about this. When narcs do this shit, they don't want loyalty. They want obedience. You need to do what I say when I say it and shut up.
Right.
Although Miss Ventura had saved up some earnings from her young modeling career, Mr. Combs' ostentatious display of wealth was intimidating to her. I can imagine. Mr. Combs paid for things with wads of cash. He would repeatedly tell Miss Ventura, "Don't worry about money. I have money." Mr. Combs expensed lavish vacations for him and Miss Ventura, purchased a car for her, paid for her apartment, and provided her with extensive amounts of designer clothing. And all of that, seems nice, right? Your boyfriend does all this nice stuff for you, but all of this is intended to keep her under his control.
Yes.
He's got her car paid for, her apartment paid for, all means he controls all that.
Right. Because I'll guarantee you the apartment wasn't in her name. It was in his name.
Right.
The car wasn't in her name. It was in his name. That's how they did that. Yeah.
Yes. All of that is keeping control over her. She's got nothing of hers anymore. Not even her own car or her own apartment. It's all his. Even the clothes on her back, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Around 2008 or 2009, Mr. Combs began to rent an apartment in Manhattan for Miss Ventura. The apartment was within walking distance, of course it was, within walking distance of Mr. Combs' New York residence, right? Because she can't be out of your sight for more than 5 minutes, I'm sure. He first showed Miss Ventura the apartment by bringing her there along with her parents. Miss Ventura's parents were skeptical of the mogul's displays of wealth, but proud of their daughter's newfound success. Oh, I bet they're regretting that.
Mm-hmm.
Around 2010, Mr. Combs similarly paid for an apartment for Miss Ventura in Los Angeles, which was located about 5 minutes away from Mr. Combs' residence, of course. He paid for many of her apartments in California and also purchased a Jaguar for her around 2013 or 2014. All aspects of Miss Ventura's life were controlled by either Mr. Combs or his management companies. Exactly. Every event Miss Ventura attended, from the travel to the makeup and clothing, was paid for directly by Mr. Combs and his affiliated companies. Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, we still got a lot. We're on page 12 of 35. I mean, do you want me to keep reading all this?
I don't know. We could discuss a while and then go back to reading. It doesn't matter, though.
Okay. What do you guys think of all this? Do you want me to keep reading this? Like, how are y'all still with me? Are you sick of hearing me read? You sick of my voice yet?
I'm kind of like ASMR in it, to be honest, because it is kind. I listen to audiobooks, so this is working for me. But it's
crazy, huh?
It is crazy. It's crazy that he got away with this stuff this long, and it just seems like how many years ago was this? This was a long time ago, right?
Well, we're at 2014, 2015, I think right now is where we're at ish.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was, semi long ago, but, it's not, I understand, Narnie. That's fine. Yeah. I don't mind reading it. I just don't want, if people are sick of my voice, we can,
Hey, Davida.
Hey, Davida. What's interesting to me is the way he works it. He gets her parents all on board. You know what I mean? Like, she's got nowhere. Now her parents are even impressed with him.
Of course.
He's systematically taking out every piece of her independence, every piece of her that isn't directly connected to him. He's just wiping them away. Thank you, Christina. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Do you think he put cameras in her apartment to keep an eye on her? Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I would absolutely. I don't know if that's in this document or not, but if that's one of the allegations, but I could easily see him do it.
I think he's that controlling.
Sure.
He probably.
Yeah.
And possibly even in the car. I guarantee you he tracks the car.
I'm sure. He probably, I bet the phone's going to be in his name too in a minute.
Yeah. He wanted slaves, if you think about it. Sex slaves.
Absolutely. He wanted obedience, blind obedience from everybody in his world. And, he's taken great interest in this girl who is young and obviously has no ability to fight him off. Right, Lavender Sunday. Yeah, taking her security for sure. How many Diddies are there in the entertainment industry, right? And this is just one. And all these names are attached to him. It's not just him. When there's a 75-page document that I just uploaded to my channel, unlisted. I might just make it public so y'all can go see it yourself. I don't know if you're going to want me to read 75 damn pages. but we can bop through it and you can see the pictures and stuff. All these names are associated. J-Lo, Cuba Gooding, all these names are associated with him. And he's just one. And how many are like him in the entertainment industry? Probably hundreds, thousands.
Yeah, me too, Narnie. Me too. There's been some things come out about things that he got Justin to do because he bought Justin a Jaguar.
And Justin is younger than him too.
Oh, I think he was a minor when all that happened. When Diddy was trying to take him under his wing.
Yeah.
So
all these young up and comers, he takes them, and Usher's mentioned, I think, in some of these documents.
Which that's gonna just suck. But I'm sick of Usher brought Justin in. I see. Justin was 15.
15.
I knew he was young.
Justin's mom signed him over to Diddy at 12.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that. But
and see, again, got the parents involved. Like, he buddies up to the parents. He's like, I'll take him under my wing and I'll make him famous just like me. And that would be great if you weren't such a nasty pig.
Right.
But no, you're a bad guy. You're a terrible person.
That, you know what, Winky, I did read that. Or maybe I watched a video about he spent 48 hours with Diddy when Usher brought him. I forgot about that. But you know what? Put Usher in prison too. If he knew about this, put him in prison. We need to stop coddling people who are rich and celebrities.
Right. It's time that they stop being able to, buy off. But that's what he's done in the documents that I read through them. The police are involved in all the cover-ups. Like, he paid off police in his fucking driveway.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked the other way. I didn't see anything. I didn't see that.
He's a good, wholesome man. Just having a little party. And who else I hope speaks out? These male prostitutes. Very interesting if they did.
If this goes to like a trial, and if this is an open trial, are all these people going to testify?
Oh, I don't know. Charlie, I forgot about that.
What happened? Usher got taken to the hospital because his backside got tore. What do you mean? Yeah, Justin did just have a baby.
From
sex?
Mm-hmm. There's a video.
Oh.
There's a video.
Wow. Somebody asked Usher if he would let his kids go to a Diddy party, and he said no way. His rectum, unfortunately. Wow.
Yeah. But yet he let
guys,
other people.
The chat is helping me out by saying all the words I don't want to say.
Yeah, they really are. But here's the thing with Usher. Do we have any respect for him saying, no, I wouldn't let my kids go when he took other people's kids?
But, I mean, did he know when he took those kids, or did he learn the hard way like all these other people?
Bad joke alert. I'd say you learned the hard way when you ended up in the hospital.
He learned the hard way. Sorry. There's vids of Justin at parties with them and his pants almost around his ankles. Oh my God. Usher invited Bieber to perform at the Super Bowl, the biggest show at the world, but Bieber passed. That says a lot. Wow.
That does say a lot.
I think a lot of big names are going down with him. That's what I'm wondering. Because, I mean, there's a lot of people. This is just Cassie's story. This is one out of hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
Usher
was groomed. And Usher is from, let's see.
From where?
Oh, okay. He's from Dallas, Texas. Born in 1978. So I'm older than Usher.
I am too. Usher isn't that much older than Bieber.
That's what I thought. He grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh.
So I knew that I thought that he was close, close to here.
Yeah.
And but yeah, a lot of big name, and you know, you were talking about a group of people who will say, you know, they don't snitch. What are they going to do? Like, what are they going to do?
Right.
This is going to get good.
Yeah. All right. So basically, compounding this all-encompassing intrusion into her life, Mr. Combs secured his control over the young and impressionable Miss Ventura by introducing her to a drug-fueled lifestyle that kept her complacent and compliant. Mr. Combs first introduced Miss Ventura to opiates around 2008. He would often have pills and other drugs out in the open, quote, like candy. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs has been addicted to prescription painkillers and took ecstasy frequently. At first, Miss Ventura was given the prescriptions that Mr. Combs received from a doctor in Miami, Florida. Eventually, when Mr. Combs exhausted his supply of pills, he demanded that Miss Ventura procure prescriptions from this Miami doctor in her own name. Mr. Combs also became deeply involved in Miss Ventura's personal life, with his personal staff attending to Miss Ventura's day-to-day travel and other needs, including medical care. Including medical care. On multiple occasions, Mr. Combs had Miss Ventura's personal medical records sent directly to his email address. Wow. For instance, when Miss Ventura began experiencing memory loss, potentially due to excessive drug use and or head injuries caused by Mr. Combs' beatings, as described below, her MRI results were provided directly to Mr. Combs. How is that even legal?
It's probably not.
Mr. Combs also repeatedly arranged for his staff to drive Miss Ventura to certain doctor's appointments. I guess I think she have to sign a release. Like, you can sign a medical release. I bet he made her sign that so that he could see her medical records. Make sure she's not reporting anything she shouldn't be.
Well, and you know, I would like to know what kind of doctor that, you know, that she was going to, that he followed, because I'm gonna go on a limb and say her woman doctor.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, let's make sure she doesn't get pregnant.
Yeah. But it's interesting he wants her MRI results too. Because of all the beatings, he wants to make sure that she's not really hurt.
Oh.
I'm wondering, you know? He wants the MRI result because she's experiencing memory loss, and he's like, oh shit, you know, did I do this? And he wants to make sure, like, he's covering his ass. And his staff has to drive her to her doctor's. So now she can't even go to doctor's appointments in peace. He's taken over every part of her life. In this way, Mr. Combs exerted ownership over Miss Ventura. Exactly. As another example of the ways in which he manipulated Miss Ventura and ensured obedience, early on in their relationship, he asked Miss Ventura what she called her grandfather. Oh my God, I'm going to throw up. When Mr. Ventura said that she referred to her grandfather as Pop Pop, Mr. Combs perversely insisted that Miss Ventura refer to him with that nickname. Blech!
He's a
wow. Wow. You, sir, are a fucking pig. Whew. Gross. What started as a whirlwind of celebrity meetings and drug and alcohol fueled parties, however, quickly turned frightening and violent. Miss Ventura was also exposed to the intense violence that pervaded Mr. Combs' rise to fame. For example, on one occasion when Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura were using drugs together in his home, one of his security staff barged. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. Where am I? Oh, barged in and announced that Suge Knight, a longtime rival of Mr. Combs, was spotted at Mel's Drive-In Diner in Los Angeles. Mr. Combs began to get dressed, retrieved multiple guns from a safe, and ran out of his home to where he believed Mr. Knight was dining. Miss Ventura became terrified and began to cry.
Yeah. That's
So he's just gonna go shoot him?
Oh, well, he definitely wanted to kill Suge.
Apparently, yeah. He got dressed right away, grabbed multiple guns, and ran out the damn door.
And can we just say that I guarantee you, Suge knows that he was behind Park's murder. It's a wonder that Diddy is still alive, honestly.
Jeez.
I mean, like, Suge is in prison now for running over a guy on camera. Like, he didn't give one shit, just ran him over.
Wow.
Daylight, public, camera.
So so you're saying that P. Diddy is the one who shot Tupac? Is that what you said?
Allegedly, he's the one who hired the hit.
Okay. So someone's got to know about that.
I say they all know. Suge is a scumbag, for sure. Because, the rivalry, it started with, okay, like Flint was saying a while ago, hey, Haley, hey, True Jedi. It started when Pac was going to see Biggie in the recording studio.
Yeah.
And he got shot several times. And everybody thinks that Diddy did that because he was kind of a, not a rival at that time, but he thought that Biggie could make it bigger if Pac wasn't around. So they said, I don't think Biggie had anything to do with it, but I think that Suge set him up. So then when he lived through that one, it became a huge rivalry. And then he got killed just, riding down the road after a Mike Tyson fight. And of course, what happened then was Pac's people, Suge, probably, allegedly, Biggie got killed. And the main character in this would have been P. Diddy, but he never got in trouble for anything.
So I wonder if all that's going to come out now.
Probably not.
Damn.
Me too, Flint. I don't think Biggie had anything to do with it because he really liked Pac. He couldn't believe, that Pac thought he would have him shot. Well, Biggie wouldn't, but P. Diddy would because he was dirty back then. He was young and trying to make a name for himself. He had a small name, but it was small back then.
Wow. All right. On at least 2 occasions, Mr. Combs demanded that Miss Ventura hold Mr. Combs' gun in her purse. Miss Ventura had no familiarity with guns and was petrified that the firearm would accidentally go off in her purse. There was no clear reason why Mr. Combs required her to hold his guns, except to reinforce his young girlfriend that he was violent, powerful, and dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
That would scare the shit out of me. That would scare me too. I totally get that. I would be terrified to hold somebody else's gun in my purse. No, thank you. Over the next decade, multiple times each year, Mr. Combs would violently beat Miss Ventura, leaving bruises on her body.
Oh.
After every instance in which he beat Miss Ventura, Mr. Combs used his money and power to orchestrate extensive efforts to hide the evidence of his abuse, including by hiding Miss Ventura in hotels for days at a time to let her bruises heal.
Pattern.
Wow. In one such instance, after a party with Jay-Z, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura repeatedly in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He forced her out of the vehicle on 5th Avenue in New York City. She was eventually able to hail a cab and get to her apartment in Manhattan, where she cried in fear realizing there was no one she could tell about what happened at the hands of this incredibly powerful man. She spent the subsequent 3 days hiding in her apartment. Wow. In January 2009, after Mr. Combs learned that Miss Ventura spoke to another music manager at a party in Los Angeles. Oh, I don't even need to finish that sentence. I already know that's going to go bad. After Mr. Combs learned that Miss Ventura spoke to another music manager at a party in Los Angeles, he became enraged. She had hoped speaking to this manager would allow her to further grow her career and that Mr. Combs would be happy for her. No, ma'am. Why would you even? You did not. That's a whole ass lie. You're trying to get away from him and you know it. Stop it. I don't even believe that. Sorry. I don't believe that at all. You're trying to get the fuck away from this guy by talking to any other manager anywhere. Anybody. And you thought that Mr. Combs would be happy for her. Sure. Instead, he became extremely angry and pulled her out of the club where the party was taking place. In the car, leaving the club, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura. This is so sad.
Yeah.
This is so sad. In the car, leaving the club, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura, pushing her into a corner of the vehicle and stomping on her face. Fuck this man. Fuck this man.
And all the men that stood around watching.
Mr. Combs' security staff, Roger Bonds, tried to stop the beating, but was unable to de-escalate the situation. When the car arrived at Mr. Combs' residence, Miss Ventura attempted to run away, but Mr. Combs followed her and proceeded to again kick her in the face. Miss Ventura was bleeding profusely and was ushered into Mr. Combs' home, where she began to throw up from the violent assault. Oh my God. God bless her.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Trigger warning in the chat. I don't even know what to say. I hope none of you are going through anything like this. This makes me sick to my stomach.
This prick.
Upon recognizing the damage he had done and the physical evidence of his abuse, yeah, that's what you're bothered by, the fucking evidence, aren't you? Damn pig. Mr. Combs panicked and forced his staff to bring Miss Ventura to a hotel suite at the London Hotel in Los Angeles, where she was required to stay for a week. During this stay, as her injuries from the beating healed, Miss Ventura began to fully realize that Mr. Combs' tremendously loyal network not only knew about and witnessed his assault, but also that these witnesses were not willing to do anything meaningful to stop Mr. Combs' behavior. She recognized she was powerless and that reporting Mr. Combs to the authorities would not alter Mr. Combs' status or influence, but would merely give Mr. Combs another excuse to hurt her.
Yeah.
Fuck this piece of shit.
And the sad thing is this is only one person that.
Right. This is one story. This is Cassie's one story.
Mm-hmm.
And how mad are we? Because he's a piece of whole whatever. All the bad words.
Yep, all of them.
And this is one person's story. And there are so many people in this man's orbit that I'm sure have all kinds of stories they could tell.
Mm-hmm.
While in the hotel, she asked to go home to her parents, but Mr. Combs wouldn't let her leave. She lied to her mother when asked about online gossip forum that reported the assault. So I guess her mother heard about it online and asked her about it. She lied to her mom. Mr. Combs proceeded to instruct his assistant to purchase excessive amounts of gifts for Miss Ventura, which were delivered to the hotel room where she remained trapped.
Of course he did.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Here's all these pretty shiny things. Hopefully when your eye heals, you can see them.
Right.
Miss Ventura was terrified, isolated, and unable to see a pathway out of Mr. Combs' abusive hold on her life. She found herself becoming numb to the abuse she was experiencing and became entirely beholden to Mr. Combs' demands.
There you go.
That's it. He broke her.
Yep.
She began to blindly follow his instructions out of fear again of being on the receiving end of a vicious beating. That's what it was. He broke her finally. By Mr. Combs' own admission, in his relationship with Miss Ventura was like Bobby and Whitney, a clear acknowledgement of the unequal power dynamic and excessive domestic violence that permeated their relationship. From the outside looking in, Miss Ventura had heard others refer to her relationship with Mr. Combs as akin to Ike and Tina. Her volatile and abusive partner, who also owned her label and therefore held her future success in his hands, had fully exerted control over every aspect of her life. Now we're going to talk about sex trafficking.
Oh,
Within a few months of beginning a romantic relationship with 40-year-old Mr. Combs, the 22-year-old Miss Ventura felt beholden to his whims and demands. While in New York City, Mr. Combs told the Miss Ventura that he wanted to engage in a fantasy he called voyeurism. Mr. Combs said it would turn him on if he saw Miss Ventura with another D word.
ICK? ICK? Okay.
D-ick. Yes, exactly. Ick. The first time Mr. Combs hired a man and brought the man to his home in Los Angeles, the man, Mr. Combs, and Miss Ventura wore masquerade masks and ingested drugs. Mr. Combs directed Miss Ventura to perform sexual acts with this man while Mr. Combs watched them. He M-word while he directed Miss Ventura and the man to do specific sexual acts.
Oh, M-word?
M-word. Charming. The entire encounter lasted multiple days. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Mr. Combs began to call the arrangement a quote freak off or quote FO. He would repeatedly tell Miss Ventura at random moments that he wanted an FO, and Miss Ventura was eventually expected to facilitate the location and the hiring of the male sex workers. At certain points during Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs' relationship, he would insist on an FO weekly. Mr. Combs would repeatedly tell Miss Ventura that his practice was, quote, our thing and, quote, our secret. That this practice was, quote, our thing and our secret. So it's a sacred thing between them, Randy. It's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
Only
sacred
between us. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody, though. Don't do that. It's our thing. It's special for us. Ugh. FOs would often take place in hotel suites, including including is the word it should be, probably. At the Trump International Hotel in Columbus Circle. L'Hermitage, I don't even know how you say that. That's too fancy for me. Beverly Hills, the London Hotel in Los Angeles, the Intercontinental Century City, the Intercontinental Atlanta, the Intercontinental New York City, the One Hotel in New York and in Miami, the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in New York and in Miami, the Fontainebleau in Miami. I don't know. Lots of different hotels, y'all. On one occasion, around 2013, Mr. Combs had an FO set up at the Intercontinental Hotel in New York City, after which he was charged with tens of thousands of dollars in damages by the hotel.
Wow.
So they tore the room up. Oh my gosh. Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Tony Fletcher, paid the invoice charged by the hotel. Tens of thousands of dollars in damages.
Yeah, just tore the room up.
Just tore the place up. Damn.
So imagine what all was happening in there.
Right? Miss Ventura was eventually instructed to use websites and escort services to find male sex workers to participate in the FOs. Mr. Combs told Miss Ventura to search for, quote, large black... Oh my God. I can't. On the website.
Oh, ICK.
Yeah, yes. Well endowed, not endured. Endowed, large black endowed men. Okay. Sometimes Mr. Combs would pay to fly male sex workers to his location, including to multiple cities in the United States as well as abroad. He required Miss Ventura and his staff to help him make these arrangements. Mr. Combs' assistants would help. I mean, can you imagine being an assistant for this freak?
No, I can't. Are they still alive? I doubt it.
I have no idea, dude. Mr. Combs' assistants, and I can't believe they're not even named in this document. It's like, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to the people that we need to be talking about, I guess. Mr. Combs' assistants would help to set up the FOs, including by setting up the hotel suites with baby oil and Astroglide. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
I hope it's a freak out party. Not freak out, freak off. I hope all his friends read this. The ones that don't know about it.
I hope they set up his jail cell with baby oil and Astroglide. That's what I hope.
Oh, damn, that was good, Wendy.
Is that mean? Am I in trouble for that?
No, I think it's perfect, even though sadly he's going to enjoy it.
So yeah, Renee wants to know what an FO is. If you rewind a little bit, we go over it. But an FO is
Flintbone explained it a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's when she she has to have sex with a sex worker, and he gets to stand by, pleasuring himself and watching and calling out, I guess calling out positions and activities that they can do together. And one hotel, there was tens of thousands of dollars in damage afterwards. So I can only imagine. We can only imagine what they do.
Right. And imagine being the person that is receiving these orders and she's having to do whatever he says. Whatever.
Yeah. Directing.
Good. Yes, sweet. Yes.
Yes. All these people who knew what he was doing and no one tried to unalive him. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, I'm a bit amazed at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they just paid him off. Okay, tens of thousands of dollars, no problem. Here's a check. There you go. Thanks. See you next month. Jesus.
Right.
So Mr. Combs always supplied Miss Ventura and the sex worker with copious amounts of drugs before and during the FOs. Ms. Ventura was given ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and alcohol in excessive amounts during FOs, which allowed her to disassociate, I can imagine, during these horrific encounters. It became commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after an FO to recover from the excessive substances pushed upon her. Oh my God. Fuck this man.
Yeah.
I hate you, sir.
And this was okay. So it said this was 2013.
Are we at 2013 yet?
I thought they said this was in 2013.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't believe for one second that people didn't know about this. No one spoke out. Wow.
Is GHB the date rape drug? I think maybe it is. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I know that they also give you ecstasy for the date.
But mixing all this shit together, can you imagine? Of course she disassociated.
Yes.
I can't believe she even remembers these encounters. She probably doesn't remember a lot of them.
Right. And
Oh, this poor baby. She's 22 years old. She's a tiny.
mm-hmm. Wow.
Fuck you, Sean. God. Miss Ventura was required to dress up in lingerie for an FO. Of course she was. And Mr. Combs insisted she wear white nail polish to contrast her nails with the skin of the black men he hired to have sex with her.
Holy shit.
Right down to her fucking nails.
Right.
Woman has no control over anything of herself. Nothing. During the FO, Mr. Combs would instruct Miss Ventura to pour excessive amounts of oil over herself. Mr. Combs would then instruct Miss Ventura and the sex worker to speak to each other, and then would specifically tell Miss Ventura where to touch the sex worker. Mr. Combs would say things like, okay, I'm not going to be able to say all of this. Mr. Combs would say things like, grab that big black, you know what?
Ick.
And ask her, how does it feel? As he directed her to perform for him. I'm sure she had to say she was loving every minute of it. Although, what if she gets her ass kicked for liking it?
Yeah, right. What do you say?
What do you even say?
Not as much as you.
Right. I bet you're having more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next line's going to be Mr. Combs became enraged when she said she liked it. Beat the fuck out of both of them. All right. During the FOs, in addition to directing Miss Ventura and pleasuring himself, Mr. Combs would use his phone, laptop, and tablet to film Miss Ventura having sex with the hired sex worker. He treated the forced encounter as a personal art project. That's lovely. Adjusting the candles he used for lighting to frame the videos he took. Oh, it's precious. Precious. While Miss Ventura quickly deleted any photographs or video of sex acts if they were taken on her phone, Mr. Combs repeatedly made clear that he retained many videos of Miss Ventura during FOs. Yeah.
Wow.
So now she can't leave or tell anybody because he'll leak the videos and there's her career. Gone.
Right.
Even when she deleted the videos, Mr. Combs would tell Miss Ventura that he was able to recover deleted videos from her devices. On one occasion, he sat next. See, she doesn't even have control of her own phone.
Mm-mm.
On one occasion, he sat next to her on a flight and made her watch a video. On a flight? Made her watch a video she thought she had deleted, reinforcing her inability to escape the immense power he held over her. Mr. Combs would pay the male sex workers a few $1,000s in cash for their services. Wow. During some FOs, Mr. Combs would become extremely intoxicated and would hit Miss Ventura in front of the male sex workers. Nice. Miss Ventura was repulsed by Mr. Combs' demands, but between the physical beating and recognizing his incredible power and incredible temper, Miss Ventura became petrified of her partner and boss and felt she could not say no.
Of course.
Right? He even would present her with lavish gifts prior to or in the middle of FOs, seemingly acknowledging the ways in which these forced sexual encounters constituted, quote, work for Miss Ventura, and that he needed to compensate her for this work. At one point, he had given her so many designer bracelets for FOs, and immediately following her brutal beatings, his brutal beatings, that she felt she was shackled by his presence. And you are, ma'am.
Yeah.
We're
Wow.
we're about halfway through this document. Can you believe that?
No.
We still, isn't that crazy? There's still so much more to go. We're never going to make through the 73-page document.
No.
We're going to have to
Well,
do that another time, or I'll
oh
just,
yeah.
or I'll make it public and y'all can go read it yourself if you want.
And I mean, you can make it public, but we can still go over it. You know.
Yeah, maybe we could just bop through the pictures. We'll just look through the pictures. Frequently, her anxiety before an FO would become so great that she would become physically ill, sometimes to the point of vomiting. While kneeling over the toilet, Mr. Combs would shame her into performing for him, eventually forcing her to get up and proceed with the encounter. Yeah, stop vomiting and get to work, lady. So gross. She knew firsthand that telling Mr. Combs that she did not want to engage in FOs was met with anger and violence. In addition, any suggestion that Ms. Ventura would refuse the FO or otherwise report to Mr. Combs' abuse was met with ultimatums by Mr. Combs, who would say that Ms. Ventura could not go to the police because she had, quote, a lot to lose. See? Now he's blackmailing her with his shit.
Mhm.
Around August 2015, for example, in the middle of the surprise birthday dinner for Miss Ventura's 29th birthday, Mr. Combs insisted that Miss Ventura leave the party and go to a hotel for an FO. Oh my God, it's her birthday.
Oh shit.
It's her birthday. Just let her have her damn birthday.
She's had 10 years of this so far.
Right? When she expressed that she did not want to go, Mr. Combs had Miss Ventura cornered by his security staff in order to force her to leave with him. Wow, you fucks. Shame on all you security staff. Fuck all of you. After this FO, Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura went back to the hotel room that Miss Ventura was staying in, where some of Miss Ventura's friends were already hanging out. Mr. Combs was severely intoxicated and at one point during the night picked up one of Miss Ventura's friends like a child and dangled the friend over the balcony. Holy shit. Dangled the friend over the... See, every time I think I want to skip over, something like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So picked up one of her friends, dangled them over the balcony of the 17th floor hotel suite. Miss Ventura and her friends were scared. What if he had dropped her? He's drunk off her ass. He could have killed this person. Scared by Mr. Combs' erratic behavior, but Miss Ventura was heavily sedated because of the drugs she took to participate in the FO and therefore was unable to respond to Mr. Combs' terrifying behavior. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
The FOs became work for Miss Ventura, and despite her protestations, Mr. Combs insisted on these intricately staged and forced sexual encounters between Miss Ventura and various male sex workers. Wow. Wow. Picked up one of her friends and dangled her over the balcony. Holy cow. All right, so Miss Ventura tries to escape. Here we go. Anytime she tried to create distance between her and Mr. Combs, he used his networks to find her and convince her to return to his abuse. On multiple occasions, Mr. Combs sent his employees to lure Miss Ventura back. In 2011, during a rough patch in Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura's relationship, Miss Ventura had a brief relationship with a musician, Kid Cudi? I think that's Cudi, I think.
I can't. It's too blurry. I can't.
Yeah, I think it's Kid Cudi. When Mr. Combs returned, or maybe someone in the chat, if you guys know, let us know. When Mr. Combs returned from a trip, he demanded another FO of Miss Ventura, and she acquiesced.
Oh.
What?
That's sad. Another one.
Yeah, another one. He demanded another one. During this FO, Mr. Combs found Miss Ventura's phone and found emails between her and Kid Cudi.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, here we go. Mr. Combs became enraged and proceeded to place a manual corkscrew between... Oh, my God. A manual corkscrew between his fingers and lunged at Miss Ventura. Wow. That took my breath away. Hang on. Miss Ventura ran away to stay at Kid Cudi's home to escape Mr. Combs' wrath, Soon thereafter, one of Mr. Combs' staff members told Miss Ventura that he needed to, quote, just to talk to Mr. Combs,
Oh,
even though Mr. Combs was enraged. Feeling like she could not escape Mr. Combs and his network of enforcers, Miss Ventura returned to Mr. Combs. He hit her several times and then kicked her in the back as she tried to run out the door. She went to
Wow.
her parents' home in Connecticut, where her mother took pictures of the bruises Mr. Combs had left on her body. In February 2012, during Paris Fashion Week, Mr. Combs told Miss Ventura that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car.
Cuddy. I think it's Kid
Thank
Cud.
Kid
Somebody
Cudi.
said it in the
Okay.
chat.
Sorry, guys. I apologize. Kid Cudi. Okay. That sounds way better than Cudi. Sorry.
It actually does. I didn't even think about it. Like,
Kid Cudi sounds way better. So sorry. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I don't know these people. Like, I never followed this story when it happened. I've never been I don't follow any of these players.
right prickly pear, I'd say several.
So, okay, so mom took pictures of it in during Paris Fashion Week. Mr. Combs told Miss Ventura he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cudi was home with his friends when it happened. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway.
That's it. There's okay.
Yes, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, the arson went
Miss
blank.
Miss Ventura was terrified as she began to fully comprehend what Mr. Combs was both willing and able to do to those he believed had slighted him. In 2015, Miss Ventura spoke to a popular music manager at an after party in a hotel suite in Las Vegas. Mr. Combs saw her speaking to this manager and sternly told her to step into the bedroom adjoining the suite. In the bedroom, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura severely. She ran from corner to corner of the room, trying to avoid Mr. Combs beating and kicking. When she tried to lock herself in the bathroom, he pushed through and punched and kicked her while she curled up under the toilet. Her screams
Wow.
Her screams were drowned out by the loud music playing in the outside area of the hotel suite. When Mr. Combs, head of security and assistant, saw Miss Ventura after the assault, they began to cry. Miss Ventura had 2 black eyes, a burst and bruised lip, and a huge welt on her forehead. Upon seeing the results of this vicious attack, Mr. Combs immediately took steps to conceal his wrongdoing. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. He forced Miss Ventura to stay at his home in Homely Hills along with one of his sons. While there, Mr. Combs FaceTimed Miss Ventura and stated, "You got to go up and put more makeup on. My son can't see you like that." She did put makeup on per Mr. Combs' demands. Miss Ventura felt she had no choice but to obey her abuser, even though security guards, assistants, and friends saw the situation she was in. No one dared to help her or speak up on her behalf. She therefore had no choice but to remain subservient. Wow. Later in 2015, while shooting a movie in Cape Town, South Africa, Miss Ventura began a flirtatious relationship with an actor. She spent New Year's Eve with this actor, but Mr. Combs soon found out. Mr. Combs called the actor and threatened him. The actor proceeded to call Miss Ventura and tell her, "You really need to call Mr. Combs." In or around March 2016, during an FO at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, Mr. Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye. After he fell asleep, Miss Ventura tried to leave the hotel room, but as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at her. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her. He grabbed at her and then took a glass vase in the hallway and threw them at her. Took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her, causing glass to crash around them as she ran to the elevator to escape. I think this is the video we've seen.
Yeah.
This must be the video, right? She managed to get to the elevator, and when she got to the lobby, quickly took a cab to her apartment. Upon realizing that her running away would cause Mr. Combs to be even angrier with her and completely stuck in his vicious cycle of abuse, Miss Ventura returned to the hotel with the intention of apologizing for running away from her abuser. When she returned, hotel security staff urged her to get back into a cab and go to her apartment, suggesting that they had seen the security footage showing Mr. Combs beating Miss Ventura and throwing glass at her in the hotel hallway. Yeah, this is the video that was released. There's security footage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Upon information and belief, Mr. Combs paid the Intercontinental Century City $50,000 for the hallway security footage from that evening. Wow.
Wow. There.
So he paid them off.
Yeah.
But then how did it get released then? They must have still had it? I don't know.
All these
Does
years.
anyone know how it ended up getting released? Damn.
Hey, Dory. I'm waiting on the chat to see if anyone knows. I don't know.
After this, Miss Ventura left her home in Comstock and went to hide away at a friend's home in Florida. James Cruz, president of Bad Boy Management, tracked Miss Ventura down, God dang it, and told her that her single would not be released if she did not answer Mr. Combs' phone calls.
Damn.
Wow. All right. A woman who worked at Sony Music reached out to her with a similar ultimatum concerning her record. Incredibly, Mr. Combs even convinced one of his attorneys. Are you kidding me? Convinced one of his attorneys to call Miss Ventura at this time. The lawyer told Miss Ventura, it's in your best interest to call Mr. Combs back. Are you fucking kidding? Holy cow. Each time Miss Ventura tried to run away, Mr. Combs and his powerful network would force her back to him. Even the dang attorneys are telling her to go back. Holy cow. Mr. Combs' tight hold over her life had irreparably damaged her friendships. Around 2018, when Miss Ventura was with her friend Carrie Morgan in her house, Mr. Combs used his key, of course, to Miss Ventura's house and came in unannounced. He and Miss Morgan had an altercation during which Mr. Combs threw a hanger at Miss Morgan. Upon information and belief, the incident resulted in a settlement between Mr. Combs and Miss Morgan, and Miss Ventura ended up paying Miss Morgan additional funds in an attempt to resolve the dispute between her close friend and her abusive and controlling boyfriend. The relationship between Miss Ventura and Miss Morgan has been strained since this time. So the friend gets up and tells him about himself. He throws a hanger at her and then has to pay her off with a bunch of money. No. And even Cassie's like, here, let me give you some money too, and let's just forget this all happened. Damn. Wow. Seeing the extreme measures Mr. Combs took to keep a tight hold on Miss Ventura and isolate her from her support network, and having experienced the repercussions of rejecting his demands, Miss Ventura felt that saying, quote, no to Mr. Combs would cost her something, her family, her friends, her career, or even her life. All right. Now we're talking about Mr. Combs' R words, Miss Ventura. So we'll see how much of this we can get through. Okay. By 2017 and 2018, Miss Ventura became desperate to leave Mr. Combs and his abuse of her. She recognized if she stayed with him, she would never be able to have a successful career or ever be physically and mentally safe. I know, fuck your career at this point, girl.
Right.
Just get out. She therefore became determined to completely break away from Mr. Combs and his cycle of abuse and made concerted efforts to avoid him. In September 2018, she joined Mr. Combs for a dinner at an Italian restaurant in Malibu for what she believed would be a discussion about concluding their relationship for good. So she's going to a breakup dinner, basically,
Yeah.
which I'm sure was his idea. Has to be.
Yeah.
Just join me for one dinner. We'll talk it all out and we'll, whatever.
Say our goodbyes.
Yeah, say our goodbyes. After dinner, Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura returned to Miss Ventura's home, which was paid for by Mr. Combs, of course. Mr. Combs forced himself into her apartment and tried to kiss Miss Ventura. She told him to stop and attempted to push him away. Mr. Combs then forcibly pulled off Miss Ventura's clothing and unbuckled his belt. He proceeded bad things. I don't even want to read it.
Right.
Soon thereafter, Miss Ventura took steps to completely separate herself from her longtime abuser, including by leaving the home that he paid for and returning the car he purchased for her. Good. Despite moving away, Miss Ventura's address was posted online in early 2019, leading to fears for her safety, of course. Of course her address was posted online, fuckers. Yeah. Miss Ventura, who was under immense duress during the months after Mr. Combs arred her, took all the steps possible to entirely remove herself from her abuser's ambit, including by entering into contracts to end her record deal with Bad Boy Entertainment. But at no time does she go to the police.
She's scared. Well, and she knows he's got the cops.
It's got to be, right? She knows that they aren't going to be able to do anything. But, she's taking all these steps to get away from him, but she can't even go to the police as part of those steps. As a result of the immense trauma Miss Ventura endured for over a decade with Mr. Combs, she has suffered and continues to suffer from immense emotional distress. Following her escape from the cycle of abuse and sex trafficking she endured, she struggled with the physical and mental manifestations of her trauma. The birth of her 2 children, however, allowed her a new lease on life and gave her purpose. She credits her children with saving her from the trauma that had consumed over a decade of her life. God bless her. Except for the months when she was pregnant with her children, Miss Ventura struggled with her addictions to drugs and alcohol. Addictions that were established and fueled by Mr. Combs. She turned to substances to drown out the memories of her abuse. Without being intoxicated, she suffered from horrific nightmares of the forced sexual acts that Mr. Combs demanded she participate in during the regularly scheduled FOs, and the physical beatings that she endured throughout her relationship. She had difficulty eating or sleeping. Her relationships with her family suffered. During this time, she frequently had thoughts of ending her life. To rebuild her life and her career, Miss Ventura needed to completely reinvent herself. She checked herself into an inpatient treatment and rehabilitation center where she first confronted the extent of the trauma she lives with. She has required intensive therapy and other medical care to recover from Mr. Combs' abuse, and she will forever live with the physical and psychological repercussions of over a decade of violence, fear, and exploitation she endured. Although Miss Ventura was unable to speak up against the years of abuse she endured at the hands of Mr. Combs, she has since been able to rebuild her life and confront her trauma. Thanks to the passage of New York's Adult Survivors Act and California's Sexual Abuse Accountability and Cover-Up Act, she is now ready and able and to also confront her abuser and to hold him and those who enabled his abuse accountable for their actions. Yes. Yes, ma'am. First cause of action. Plaintiff repeats and realleges each and every allegation in all of the preceding paragraphs as if fully set forth herein. All right. Plaintiff is a victim of sex trafficking. The defendant's acts and omissions taken separately and or together as outlined above constitute a violation of, these U.S. codes and all of that stuff. These are just all of the codes that that have been violated by him holding her, an artist, signed with defendant Bad Boy Records and otherwise employed by other defendant due corporations, holding her captive to Mr. Combs' demands and desires. All relevant times defendants participated in and facilitated harboring and transportation of plaintiff for purposes of sex induced by force, fraud, or coercion. So these are just all the official things that he's violated. That's awesome. Good. All the laws. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's unlawful conduct as alleged here and above, plaintiff has suffered physical injury, severe emotional distress and anxiety, humiliation, embarrassment, post-traumatic stress disorder, economic harm, and other consequential damages. Plaintiff also seeks reasonable attorney's fees as provided under 18 U.S. Code. Plaintiff repeats and all of this. Plaintiff is a victim of sex trafficking. Those are the laws related to that. All of this, just more of basically the lawyer speak of what she's actually, what the laws that have been violated and what this case is going to cover.
Hey, Dolly.
All of that's the same. Yeah, all of this is the same. These are third cause of action, fourth cause of action, battery, sexual battery under the law. Fifth cause of action, sexual assault pursuant to California sex abuse and cover up. So there's sexual assault in New York, sexual assault in California, violation of the Victim of Gender Motivated Violence Act. So there's all these laws. They're just putting out the different laws. Seventh cause of action, sexual harassment, gender discrimination, and hostile work environment under New York State human rights law. Let's see. Eighth cause of action, sexual harassment, gender discrimination, and hostile work environment under New York human rights. Hold on. Let's see here. So that she wants punitive damages. Let's see. Prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiff prays judgment be entered in her favor against defendants and each of them as follows. Let's see who are. For a money judgment representing compensatory damages, including consequential damages, lost wages, earning, and all other sums of money, together with interest on these amounts according to proof. A money judgment for mental pain and anguish, severe emotional distress, punitive and exemplary damages according to proof, attorney's fees and cost, pre-judgment, post-judgment interest, and other such further relief as the court may deem just and proper. I think that's it, people. Yeah, that's it. Whew! Do you want me to open this? You want me to show this? What you just sent me?
Yeah.
All right, I'll pull this in real quick. There you go. There it is. See you later, alligator. At your trial, pedophile. Wow. Fuck you, sir. Fuck you. That was hard to read, guys. I'm exhausted even from reading that.
You did a great job. But
you.
Sadly, I think it's going to get worse the more we read.
Well, because we haven't even gotten to the Mr. Jones summary of events. That's a whole 3-page document of stuff. And then a part of that, and then the 73-page document with all the pictures and stuff that I've uploaded on my channel. We haven't even touched that either. We're going to have to do a part 2 to this.
Oh, yeah. Someone asked, and we may do the part 2 on Wendy's channel. So just make sure you're subscribed. The link is being dropped by Nightbot.
That was hard to read, you guys. Wow. Are you guys okay? I'm so sorry to anyone in the chat who is upset by this. We put a trigger warning on it, and it's just obviously this is hard crap.
Yeah. It's
Ugh. Fuck this guy.
look up Gene
Fuck.
Deal. He used to work for Diddy. He's been screaming how evil he's been for years. Okay.
And that's the part that kills me, is because people have been talking about this like
for a long time. Like
nothing's ever been done until now. Yes, deep cleansing breath. Yeah, cleaning breath, everyone. Take a deep breath.
Yes. Thank you for coming, Mountain Mama.
Pray for justice. I think justice is going to be served. I hope this motherfucker doesn't get bail. Interestingly enough, what he just got arrested for and taken into custody for has nothing to do with the Cassie case. Has nothing to do with everything we just read.
Right.
He was arrested for racketeering and other, I guess some sex worker stuff. Maybe that's going to be part of it. I don't know.
Well, trafficking. I mean,
right. So maybe that part could be related to Cassie, but all of the abuse and the drugs and all of that, is that going to be part of this case? Or is that a whole separate case?
I'd say it's going to be separate. And if they let him out without what they did with that Andrew Tate, was they let them out and then put him on house arrest.
I don't think this guy needs to be on house arrest.
No, I don't either, because I think he can flee. I think he's got the capability. Not that, he has
too much fun at his house. Fuck that.
Well, yeah, so did the Tate brothers. But the thing is, I think the Tate brothers stand a chance of actually being, don't come for me, actually being set up and innocent, where Diddy stands no chance. He's guilty. There's way too much proof out there. And so I think he would flee. I do.
Okay, so Christina said the lawsuit you just read, Diddy settled and paid Cassie the next day after it was filed. How much? Do we know?
Let's look it up.
Yes, privacy is his weapon.
Yeah, and buying people's silence. $30 million.
Damn. Wow.
Diddy settled his case with Cassie in under 24 hours by wiring $30 million.
The case that we just read was a civil case. So, $30 million.
Ah.
Wow. All of that for $30 million. I don't even know if that's enough. $30 million. He just writes a check for $30 million. He's got stupid money, man. Stupid.
Yeah, and then went on about his life. Here's 30 mil.
Right. Here's 30 mil. Can you shut up about it already?
Right.
Can only imagine.
And here's, okay. So his net worth is $1 billion. And that was in 2022. So. Wow.
Right, sweet? Yeah, this new one is criminal. Yeah, the FBI and stuff, they're all involved in this. So
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, this new one is this one that he was just arrested for is he's not going to get away. Kathy, when Randy started the stream, she played a video that talked about the indictment. That's why the title is like that. But
yeah,
maybe we could change the title to be reviewing the Cassie civil case or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can change it. No money is worth all that. No. Oh, it's okay. The indictment is federal and criminal. We need it. And it's opened, so we can get it.
Yeah, I don't know where we get it though. I don't know what the 73-page document that I have. I don't know what that is because it talks about Mr. Jones. So it might just be another civil case.
Look it up.
Dolly Green.
He filed okay, so it says
Goodbye, Opal. Have a good day, honey.
Music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones made global headlines in February when he filed a stunningly detailed 30 million.
That's the 73-page document. It was filed February 26th, and it's Mr. Jones. That's him. That's what I have.
Yeah.
All right, read it out. Can you read that again?
Yeah, it says music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones made global headlines in February when he filed a stunningly detailed 30 million sexual assault, trafficking, and racketeering lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs in Manhattan federal court. So I wonder if one of the businesses, he must have stole a business from this guy too, or
So
he's alleging.
Sounds like that's another civil case.
Yeah.
Not criminal. So whatever the feds have, like we said, we need to see that indictment.
How do you get that?
I don't know.
How? I'm Googling it.
Someone has to know.
Watch it say for 30 mil. Oh. Here's the 14-page indictment. I'm about to send it to you.
Okay,
we got it.
Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm eating. I haven't even had breakfast yet, and I'm starving.
I love people on the internet. They'll just put shit up and thank you. Thank you. Are you reading it or did you get choked? I don't know what Wendy's eating, but every time she eats that, it just sounds so good. It could be Chex Mix, but
I'm so sorry. I'm downloading it now.
okay.
This is it. This is the criminal indictment. This is it.
Is this Chex? Are you eating Chex Mix?
Yeah. So sorry.
You always make it sound
I'm hungry.
No, you just make it sound good.
Really? Because I can't stand listening to people eat.
No, it just makes me want to eat.
All right. So this is a 14-page document. Do you want to go through it real fast?
I think we should. Let me use the restroom, and I think we should. I think that this is interesting.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Whew. All right. Well, everybody take a little break. Come back in a few seconds. Get yourself a drinky drink. Go potty. I'm going to shove some more of this shit in my mouth. I'm starving to death over here. Whew. Well, thank you for saying that, Dolly Green. I cannot stand mouth noises. Yeah, the Rodney document, that one's 73 pages. And I have that one uploaded unlisted to my channel. That one has pictures, all kinds of stuff. And it sounds like that one is another civil case. I don't know if that one's been settled or not. Crazy. But they're all similar in content to what we just read with Cassie. Same kind of stuff. Drugs, sex, all the things. Probably just because you like me. I bet if you hated me, it'd sound gross. I'm trying not to make gross sounds in your ears. So sorry, because I hate that sound. But I haven't even eaten anything. It's not, Charlie, because Randy will never send me her Chex Mix, even though she promised me she would. Big lie. Big lie. But this is, this is the criminal. Whew. It goes through the whole thing. This is 14 pages, so it's a lot shorter than what we just read. Come on, Randy, get back here, girl. Chex Mix. Lisa's mouth noises are rough for sure. Hey, Ginger. Chex Mix. It's just crap. It's like pretzels, Chex, little pieces of with fur on it. I get the like the savory Chex Mix, like the original Chex Mix. It's a little more spicy.
I'm back. Hello.
Hang on, I'll be right there.
Okay.
You can pull it in backstage.
Oh, I didn't even look.
All right.
Puff Daddy. Okay.
I know. Look at all his names. AKA Love.
Oh, I was about to say, like, where'd that come from?
All these damn names. Get a hold of yourself, sir.
They call me Love.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try and pull it in. I bet I can get rid of this too. Hopefully, you guys can see it. Okay. Yeah.
It's looking pretty clear.
Okay. All right. Count 1: racketeering conspiracy.
Wow.
The grand jury charges. For decades, Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. PD, a.k.a. Love.
I hope we only have to read that once.
No, it's through the whole thing, but I will not read it every time. But they had to type it every time.
Yeah.
4 decades. The defendant abused and threatened and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Woo!
So it is gonna actually, her claims, or well, I mean, he settled. That's a plea of guilty.
Right. I guess but that was for civil. I mean, they can still charge him criminally, I guess, right?
Absolutely. That's what it's going into.
So that's what this is. So yeah,
Mhm.
she got her 30 million and he's going to go to jail. I love
Right.
that.
And when he
Good.
settled, that was a, yes, I'm guilty.
Right? Couldn't it be? Could be.
Mhm.
I'm sure part of the documentation is going to say this does not constitute an admission of guilt. Mr. Combs just wants to quickly settle this or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All right. That was just number one, y'all. That whole big paragraph. That was just number one. Number two, Sean Combs, AKA, I'm sorry, I won't do it. Operating, AKA piece of shit. What? The defendant operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including, I'm wondering if the fact, because they have made a case now that he's not only in New York, but also in California. And I'm wondering if you get to charge as two separate things, you know what I mean? Because it's two different states.
Mm-hmm.
Including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, collectively the Combs business. Corporate entities in the Combs business included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. Number three, at all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs, aka blah, 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 engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others, acting at his discretion, made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. Damn! Woo!
Good.
This reads differently after reading Cassie's report. Like, if we hadn't read Cassie's report, then just reading this, I don't know if it would hit as hard as it does. After reading it from her perspective, we know exactly what this is and exactly what happened.
Yes.
In a single sentence, she took 33 pages or 35 pages to to describe, and they, combine it into a single sentence. I don't know. Doesn't it hit differently?
It
knowing
does.
exactly what it was,
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn.
Yeah, I'm glad we started off with that.
Yeah, it was rough to read, but it sure sets the stage for this indictment. And I'm glad it gets to be included. I'm so glad. Physical abuse. The defendant was recurrent and widely known. I guess the physical abuse by Sean Combs was recurrent and widely known. On numerous occasions, from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported. We've seen that video. Where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. And we just read about that in Cassie's statement.
In which he thought that 30 million, would shut her up and it would not come back to bite him in the ass. Well, here it is, sir, biting you.
Right. Yeah, you paid off Cassie. You didn't pay off the feds.
Right.
Not this time.
Right.
Let's see. He threw a vase as she was attempting to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Combs' violence was not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. Sean used the Combs business including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse and commercial sex. These employees included security staff, household staff. I'm so sorry, you guys. Forgive my mouth.
No, you're
Security
you're doing
staff,
great.
household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, and other close associates acted as Combs intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of Combs' business. So everybody did what he said, basically.
Yeah.
All right, the Combs Enterprise. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, Sean Combs, aka all the things, and others, known and unknown, were members of and associates of a criminal organization, the Combs Enterprise, or Enterprise. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Yeah.
In that okay, pausing for a second. In that 73-page document, can you hear me?
Yes.
Where'd you lose me?
I didn't lose you.
Oh, okay. In that 73-page document, the obstruction of justice. Okay, so in the Cassie document, we didn't really hear about obstruction of justice. But in that 73-page document, the Rodney document, they talk in that document about him paying the police off, the police looking the other way. So I'm wondering if that's the obstruction of justice.
Oh, it could be.
Because we didn't hear about obstruction of justice in the Cassie document. I'm thinking that was from the Rodney document, or even maybe other things. The Combs Enterprise, including its leadership, its members, and its associates, constituted an enterprise as defined by this title and code. It includes Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global. Individuals employed by and associated with the Combs business, and others known and unknown. They're covering all their bases. The Combs Enterprise constituted an ongoing organization whose members functioned as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the Combs Enterprise. The Combs Enterprise was engaged in, and its activities affected, interstate and foreign commerce. The Combs Enterprise operated in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean was the leader of the Combs Enterprise. Combs and others known and unknown participated in unlawful activities related to the conduct of the Combs Enterprise's affairs. These individuals included certain Combs business employees, such as members of Combs security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other close associates of Combs. The purpose of Combs Enterprise. The purpose of the Combs Enterprise included the following: operating a global business in the media, entertainment, and lifestyle industries, including, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, alcoholic spirits business, marketing agency, and television network and media company.
Okay, so let me interrupt you right there. Good morning, Melissa. Flint says there's going to be a 2:30 arraignment with press conference to follow.
Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that they don't offer him bail.
Me too.
All right, so here's the leaders. Let's see. These are the people that preserved, protected, promoted, and enhanced the power of Combs Enterprise, including the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Damn. fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to Combs' sexual gratification, including through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers. Enabling Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sexual violence, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics distribution, and other crimes, and concealing the commission of such acts. Securing absolute loyalty from members of the Combs enterprise, including through acts of violence and threats, and protecting the Combs enterprise and its members and associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement. There's your obstruction of justice. Authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witnessed the crimes committed by the members and associates of the enterprise. That's your obstruction of justice right there. Damn. I wonder if any of the police are going to be prosecuted. Like, this thing goes deep. I wonder if those officers are going to get prosecuted.
I hope. They
for
should.
looking the other way or taking bribes or whatever, you know? Like, this thing is so messy.
Messy and deep.
And deep. And this guy is like he's like a gangster, you know? Like,
I
that's
think
probably a compliment to him, but you know what I mean? Like, he has like a whole business, all kinds. It's a whole spider web of shit.
Well, I think he fancied himself a gangster, honestly.
Right? Yeah, we know he's pleading not guilty. His attorney seemed very confident.
He did, didn't he, though?
They were up till 1 a.m. crying, trying to figure out how they're going to do all this.
Get Mama on the phone.
Yeah. So, all right. So what else? Let's see. Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wield the power of prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then use force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs or FOs. That's what we were just reading about.
Mm-hmm.
And again, doesn't this read different knowing what we just read?
Yes.
Damn.
Because you wouldn't read it as, you would read it as, of something he called a freak off. But now we know exactly what it was.
Yes, exactly. Like, reading this on this document right here, like, I don't know, just different coming from Cassie's voice, you know?
Yeah.
Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, pleasured himself during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. FOs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During FOs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After FOs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical X something and drug use. Exertion, maybe, and drug use. Damn. And we just read about that. So they're taking Cassie's stuff and they're charging him criminally.
Yep.
A lot of that stuff that we just read.
Good job, Cassie. Good job.
She got her $30 million and he's going to jail. Nice. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms. Did you see what just came up on my screen?
No.
Did my screen change at all?
No.
Oh no, it didn't. Okay, good. Let's see. All these people, even down to his freaking household staff, personal assistants, security staff, all these people knew about these damn FOs and
Yeah.
helped set them up and help facilitate them.
Goes
By
back to selling your soul.
Booking your hotel rooms, stocking the hotel rooms with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms afterwards. Can you even imagine cleaning that up afterwards? Good God.
No.
The freak-offs try to mitigate room damage. Cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs try to mitigate hotel room damage. Yeah, because last time cost you 50 grand. So we'll try to clean that up a little first so we don't have to pay too much. Arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from freak-offs. Resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to pay the commercial sex workers, scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. Good God. This is his staff. This is what his staff has to do for him.
And who provided the IV fluids?
I don't
So
know.
that means there's a doctor involved
Right?
in it.
You don't just get IV fluids at the Walmart. So where do you get IV fluids, right? You have to have a doctor somewhere. Wow. And who's going to put in the IV? I'm assuming his security staff doesn't know how to do that. So you need a doctor or a nurse too.
Yeah, a little nursing nurse came by.
Whew. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement, I remember when they seized stuff. They seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. 1,000 bottles.
Wow.
Where do you even store that?
Right.
Your lubricant pantry?
Yeah, this is the freak off room. There's the pantry. You know what's in there.
Right. You know what's in there. Don't open that unless you want to be scarred for life.
Yeah.
Jeez. Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in freak-offs. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, like he did with Cassie. Put makeup on, put this, here's your outfits, monitoring their medical records, having the MRI records sent to him. Cassie's MRI records, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Controlling their housing, paying for their apartment, supplying them with controlled substances. During and separate from freak-offs, Combs, among other things, hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in freak-offs. So we know that Cassie was involved in these. But this document speaks of them plural, victims. And now they might be including the sex workers in this, but I'm wondering, is there another woman who also had similar things happen to her? Does anyone know?
I was thinking that there definitely was. So,
because we know this is all Cassie's story.
Right.
All of the, throwing objects at the vases in the hallway, dragging down the hallway. Like, this is all Cassie's story. But they're saying it plural.
They could be talking about Mr. Jones, too.
Oh, Mr. Jones, too. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't remember what Mr. Jones had to do. Actually, I'm lying. I do remember. Mr. Jones did have to participate in sexual stuff, too. Maybe that's who they mean. I bet there must be other people. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. There has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also used the sensitive and embarrassing, incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of his victims. Of course he did. Fucking pig. Members and associates of Combs Enterprise, including Combs security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of and witnesses to his abuse. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. Defaced serial numbers? So he scratched off serial numbers? So let me guess, these are not legal guns for him to own?
Right, so they can't be tracked. Yeah.
Mhm. I remember when they seized stuff, when they raided his homes. He was out of the country when that happened, I think, right? Does anybody else remember?
Oh,
that?
yeah.
It was
He
on
had
the
already
news.
fled,
Yep,
or
he was already
went
running
on
for his life.
or AKA vacation.
Yeah. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise enabled Combs' control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to victims, advancing or suppressing the victim's career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances of Combs used to keep the victims compliant. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise at times witnessed Combs' violence toward the victims or the victims' injuries caused by Combs without intervening. Exactly. You sat there and cried, but you didn't help at all.
Exactly.
Instead, members and associates of the Combs Enterprise helped conceal the violence and abuse, among other things, assisting Combs in monitoring and preventing victims from leaving locations. So you held them hostage.
Yes.
It's kidnapping at some point. They can't leave. That's kidnapping. Terrible. These are his assistants, his associates. All these people are helping him do this shit. These occasions included instances in which a victim was required to remain in hiding, sometimes for several days at a time, to recover from injuries Combs inflicted. We read this with Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
Lied to her mother about it. Without being publicly observed. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise also assisted Combs in locating and contacting victims who attempted to flee his abuse. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened when Cassie ran away, and even his lawyer called and said it would be in your best interest to return his calls.
Right. Which I'm hoping it was the same.
Stupid ass lawyer we just saw.
Yep.
Wow. When employees witnesses to his abuse or others threatened Combs' authority or reputation, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputational harm, and verbal abuse. These acts of violence included kidnapping and arson. In addition, on multiple occasions, Combs threw both objects and people, as well as hit, dragged, choked, and shoved others. He threw objects and people.
Yeah, what a stand-up guy.
He just picks up a person and throws them. What the hell? When Combs' authority or reputation was threatened by the possibility of negative publicity, we wouldn't want that, or legal or law enforcement action against him, including in or about the late 2023, following public allegations of Combs' crimes, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise pressured witnesses and victims, including through attempted bribery, to stay silent and not report what they experienced or knew to law enforcement.
Oh.
That's your obstruction of justice right there, too.
Mm-hmm.
On phone calls, Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise, among other things, provided these victims and witnesses with a false narrative of events in an effort to conceal Combs' crimes. Combs caused these calls to be recorded on at least 2 occasions. You stupid. Now there's evidence, dummy.
Yeah, you're a genius, too. Hmm?
What an idiot.
He thought he was.
Probably so he could blackmail anybody that said that they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You said you wouldn't tell, now you did. I don't know. Just insane. Whatever. Obviously, my brain doesn't work like this, so I can only guess. The racketeering conspiracy. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, aka all the names, the defendant, and others known and unknown, being persons employed by and associated with Combs Enterprise, what did they do? They engaged in any activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together that with each other to violate the racketeering laws of the United States, to wit, Title 18, United States Code, Section 1962, that is, to conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs Enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity as that term is defined. Okay, someone's going to have to define racketeering. I don't know what it means.
So what I understand
I
it is,
keep waiting for this document to explain it, and all this document wants to say is the word racketeering.
I think
What does that mean?
racketeering, isn't it where you basically obtain a business illegally?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Let me look it up. Racketeering. It's a set of legal activities aimed at commercial profit that may be disguised as legitimate business deals. Racketeering is defined by a coordinated effort by multiple people to repeatedly earn a profit, typically by fraud, extortion, bribery, threats, violence, or other illegal means. A racket is an organized business or group of people that conducts business illegally for monetary gain. Drug trafficking, money laundering, embezzlement of funds are all forms of racketeering. So it's organized crime, where the perpetrators set up a coercive, fraudulent, extraordinary, or otherwise illegal coordinated scheme or operation, repeatedly or consistently collect a profit. So it's bad. It's crime, and basically, it's organized crime. Make money, and where you make your money in bad ways.
Well, and honestly, don't the mob people usually get charged with racketeering? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. This is the RICO laws initiate. What's RICO? Is that racketeering?
They've called it the RICO something.
Okay. So that's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple acts involving kidnapping, chargeable under the following provisions of state law. Multiple acts involving arson, chargeable under the provisions of state law. Multiple acts involving bribery. Multiple acts indicted under Title 18. Related to tampering with witnesses, victims, or an informant. Multiple acts under Title 18 relating to forced labor. Multiple acts under Title 18 related to sex trafficking. Multiple acts under Title 18 relating to transportation and inducement to travel for purposes of prostitution and other illegal sex activities. Multiple offenses involving the possession with intent to distribute or distribution of narcotics and controlled substances, including cocaine, oxycodone, alprazolam, methyl, lot of big word, 4-bromo, lots of other big words, GHB, I think that's what this is, gamma hydroxybutyric, I think that's the GHB, ketamine. Isn't ketamine what Chandler just died? Not Chandler. What's his name?
Yes.
Matthew Perry. Isn't that what he just died?
Ketamine.
Ketamine. So sorry. That's the new fentanyl, isn't it?
I don't think so. No.
No.
Mm-mm.
But I've heard that. I've only heard of it now, just in these two occasions. But
I've heard of it a lot. Well, mainly because I followed that guy that. Anyway, they used to use it like a long, long time ago, and you had to get it out of the vet's offices. And now they're doing ketamine treatments on people, and that's probably why you're hearing of it more, because they're using it for chronic pain and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's horrible, Lacey. It's horrible. He really did groom that girl. He did.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's see. Anyway, all of these different drugs, aiding and abetting and willfully causing, distribution and possession with intent to distribute, and conspiracy to do the same. It was part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of Combs Enterprise. So he made people do illegal stuff with him. Is that what that's saying? It was part of the conspiracy that Sean agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs. It's like you couldn't be part of the team unless you committed
Yeah, you have to do it. So if I get in trouble, you get in trouble.
Yes, so we all
Yes,
go down
yes.
together, basically,
Mhm.
or none of us go. We all have reason to cover for each other.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Notice of special sentencing factor from at least in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2018 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere as part of his agreement to conduct and participate in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs Enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. Sean agreed to, in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, advertise, maintain, patronize, and solicit by any means a person knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, coercion, would be used to cause the person to engage in commercial sex acts. Damn. It's a lot of words to basically say you're forcing people to do stuff.
Right.
A lot of words. That was count 1.
Damn. Hey,
Count
Sarah.
2. Here's count 2. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Victim 1. So the grand jury further charges from at least in or about 2009 up to and including 2018. All the things we just read, basically. They brought people in and made them do bad things. They recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, and maintained a person and attempted, aided, and abetted and willfully caused victim to engage in commercial sex acts, knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that victim 1 was engaging in commercial sex acts as a result of force, fraud, and coercion. That was count 2. Count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. From at least in or about 2009 up to and including in or about 2024.
Ooh.
In the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, the defendant knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with the intent that that individual engage in prostitution. I think it means something that he crossed state lines with these people. I think that makes it even worse. Because they keep mentioning that he's transporting them interstate, all of that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And foreign commerce, maybe even out of the country, I guess. I don't know. To engage in prostitution, attempted, aided, abetted, willfully caused the same. Combs transported, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the transportation of female victims and commercial sex workers in interstate and foreign commerce on multiple occasions with the intent that they engage in prostitution. And I think it's a different offense that it's. Interstate is what makes it a federal case. That's what I thought. Yeah, because they keep making that. Yeah, if you're a sex worker in New Jersey and someone pays you to have sex in New York because it's 2 different states, there's a whole lot of charges added on because state lines can't be crossed in the commission of felonies. Yes, I knew that. I knew it because they kept mentioning it, that it was this whole transportation across state lines, and they keep saying foreign commerce, so maybe even other countries. That's what makes this even worse for him.
And Florida Gray Lady said that's the trafficking too.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. That's the trafficking. Yeah. And transporting and engaging in prostitution. Forfeiture allegations. As a result of committing the offense alleged in count 1 of this indictment, Sean shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18 United States Code, Section 1963, any and all interest the defendant acquired or maintained in violation. Let's see. Any and all interest in securities of, claims against, and property, contractual rights of any kind affording a source of influence over the enterprise. God, so lawyer speak. Damn. Trying to figure out what it is he's forfeiting. Any and all property constituting and derived from proceeds obtained directly and indirectly set offense, basically, including but not limited to a sum of money in the United States currency representing the amount of proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. I don't even know if he has any of that, but all right. As a result of committing the offense alleged in count 2 of this indictment, Sean shall forfeit to the United States, pursuant to all the things, any and all property, real and personal, involved in, used, or intended to be used to commit to facilitate the commission of said offenses, and any and all property traceable to such property, and any and all property, real and personal, constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money in the United States currency representing the amount of property involved in said offense, and proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. So any money, property, anything that he might have obtained by doing these activities, he has to forfeit. That's what that is, I guess. I mean, if I'm understanding that correctly. And
I wonder if the people that went to the Diddy parties had to pay to get in.
I mean, I would say that everything he owns is part of this now.
Yeah.
Every home he has, every car he has, every dollar he has is a result of all of these illegal activities. So he has to forfeit all of it. The business, the homes. Yeah, there you go, Kathy. That's exactly what I was thinking. Everything that he has that can be connected to this business, Sean Combs Enterprises, anything that can be connected to that, which is basically his entire life, all of that is now forfeited. He turns that all over, meaning they can pick through it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet you he hadn't done that yet.
Well, I mean, they've already seized a bunch of stuff out of the homes. I mean, maybe this means that they can do more now. I mean, I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know. But all right, substitute assets provision. Let's see if any of the above described forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendant cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred or sold to, deposited with a third person, so he can't transfer his property over to another person.
I wonder how far that can go back.
I don't know. It says 2000. Let's see. Did it say? Let's see.
I don't think so.
Well, it's as a result of committing the offense alleged in count 1, and that goes all the way back to 2008. So it's all. I think it goes back the whole way for all of it, because it's related to count 1, count 2, and count 3, which all go back really far. So that's it, y'all. Wow. So he's not allowed to. It can't be. He's not allowed to transfer it or sell it to someone else. He's not allowed to place it in any jurisdiction above the court or beyond the court. He's not. It has to be. It has been substantially diminished in value, so he can't destroy it, basically. And it can't be commingled with other property, which can't be subdivided without difficulty. So basically, his assets. He's forfeiting his assets. They need to be able to get them all.
Probably I just wondered
if
when this started, did he know this, or did he go ahead? Well, which he wouldn't have cared. I just wondered if he transferred some of them.
Yeah, freeze bank accounts, lock up residences, take his planes, offices. Yeah, he can't sell stuff and leave the country. That's it.
Yeah,
they want to confiscate it. Yeah. They can go as far back as the enterprise existed. Yeah, exactly. That's what it's saying. As a result of count 1, count 2, and count 3, they go all the way back. It can go back to the earliest year in the indictment for any of the charges. Damn.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's wow. You know, it's like, asshole, you had it all and you ruined it because you want to be an abusive, perverted piece of shit.
Well, and he just, after so many years of getting away with it,
yeah,
I'm sure he just, figured there's nothing he can't do. Insane.
Yeah, he's probably shocked that he's even in jail right now. I'm sure he is, actually.
Asshole.
That he's
What a piece of absolute shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm exhausted. I gotta go. It's been 2
yeah,
hours.
yeah.
My voice hurts. My throat hurts. I'm tired. I need to go hug my dog and go to bed.
All right. Well, I love you. Thank y'all all for hanging in here with us. Wendy, you did a great job. Thank you for reading all that.
Sure.
And
no problem.
we'll see y'all soon.
Fuck you, P. Diddy.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.